Nobody does it, Bennett. Yes, I've gone and said it. Movies and games, some things that are lame. Nobody does it, Bennett. Worst to the worst, right on. Is this the worst thing that I've ever seen? Worst to the worst, oh yeah. I feel so dirty that I'll never be clean. Worst of the worst.
Hello, and welcome to Nobody Does It Bennett, worst of the worst. I am your host, The Greg Bennett Experience, and tonight I'm joined with Simon as we go through the movie Alien Resurrection. See, I said Simon with a question mark, like Simon.
Yeah, what, is he really?
Who is this Simon? Because he is new, obviously, to the show.
You wouldn't know that we'd known each other almost 20 years.
No, because you're just a stranger to everyone
And that
else.
you asked me to do this.
People don't exist until they're on the podcast, all right?
I was watching saying Cats Does Countdown recently, and Jimmy Carr says someone who needs no introduction, literally reading it from a card.
This person, needs no introduction.
Needs no introduction. Oh, it's not the person I thought it was. Oh, damn.
Well, anyway, Simon, welcome along to the show for the first time. I can see that you're ready and eager to go through the movie Alien Resurrection with me.
Yes, I'm so eager, it hurts.
Yeah.
And it really has hurt watching this movie.
Feels like the anticipation's going to burst through your chest?
No, I felt like I wanted to burst through my own chest watching this. That sounds vaguely dirty, but I won't go.
Well, this movie does have those oddly erotic scenes.
I wouldn't say erotic. I would say sex adjacent.
What we'll be doing on tonight's show is we'll be going through the movie Alien Resurrection, the fourth film in the Alien franchise. We will first discuss our history with the Alien films, as well as look at some of the box office and Rotten Tomatoes ratings. We will then go through the movie before finishing the show with our ratings for Alien Resurrection. Will it defeat our current worst of the worst champion, Mortal Kombat Annihilation? Stay tuned to find out. God, that movie was awful. So bad.
I've never seen any of the Mortal Kombat movies. Are they based on a video game?
Yes.
Right.
Mortal Kombat's a video game, and the movies are kind of based on that. The first one was fun. It's fun.
I appreciate with this accent, me just going, is it based on a video game?
Is it a video? Is it the things those kids play down the
It's one
road?
of those games on VHS.
Is it one of the ones you pull out and roll the dice?
Throw the dice at the screen. It's not working!
So, Simon, serious. Let's get serious because this is Alien Resurrection. It's a serious movie.
This is the Alien franchise.
Yes. What is your history with the Alien franchise? Are you a fan?
My history with the Alien of the franchise, because Alien was one of those movies, and you'd have had the same. We're a similar enough age that Alien is one of those movies you had to watch. When you got to a certain age, it was up with The Godfather, with Taxi Driver, and Alien was one of those movies.
The Shining.
Yeah. I remember when the director's cut of Alien got released in cinemas, but we couldn't go and see it. But it was, I tell you what, though, Alien, the first Alien was one of those very few movies that my dad said was brilliant. And he said, that's really scary.
Hey, Dad, how was it? Brilliant.
That is it. And then we never spoke again. Because my dad's like useless with movies. He won't watch them twice because he knows how they end, as if that's the whole reason for seeing it. He doesn't think anything's scary because he's got no imagination, except for Alien and I think Halloween or something like that. He said, but that was it. He said, oh, if the director's cut, we'll go watch that. Yeah, Alien, brilliant movie, we'll go see that. That had that extra cachet in my mind. Like, if Dad thinks that's scary, wow, that's got to be a scary movie. But then it would be... I can't remember when I first watched Alien, though. The director's cut was out, but it was probably showing on one screen in London, and we were living in South Wales. So...
Not New South Wales, but South Wales.
Yeah, South Wales, not even the warm, sunny one. So it's not like you could not go and see Alien and at least have the weather.
It's like, when I go see Alien, I don't know, do we want to, have to swim through all the snow?
It was raining like the KY jelly off an alien outside.
Oh, that is moist. If it's anything like that, that's super moist.
Super moist, wasn't that? Super moist, bat moist, iron moist.
Oh my god.
The Just Moist League.
Just moist league, there we go. I came to the Alien movies later than most. I think I was about 14 or 15 when I saw my first Alien film, which was, funny enough, Alien Resurrection. The first experience of the Alien film. I have since gone and watched every film so far. Yes, even Prometheus and Alien Covenant. And have grown to become a fan of them. Controversial opinion, I don't hate Alien versus Predator.
Nor do I. I don't think that's that controversial anymore, though. I think quite a few people have said it's not great, but it's all right.
It's a fun ride.
Yeah.
Like, if you just take your brain off at the door and just go and watch it, I enjoy it for an hour and 40.
Paul W.S. Anderson, who did it, who's...
Not Thomas Anderson, yeah.
No.
Not the guy who did Boogie Nights.
Sadly, it was... Yeah.
But yeah, the guy who did Resident Evil series.
Yeah.
And the first Mortal Kombat film.
Yeah, he did do Event Horizon, though.
He did, and that was good.
Yeah, that's a really good movie.
Sam Neill's freaking in that film.
Paul W.S. Anderson can do, like, decent throwaway trash. Rubbish. Nonsense.
Yeah, Tom
Fiddlesticks.
Anyway, shall we get to some of the box office and Rotten Tomato scores for the Alien franchise? We're going to go through Alien, Aliens, Alien 3, and Alien Resurrection. We won't do Prometheus or Alien Covenant because I feel that's a different series.
Yeah, it kind of is, isn't it? Yeah.
So this way it's easier and less notes to take as well.
Yeah.
Right, so Alien Resurrection was released in 1997, directed by Jean-Pierre Jeunet, who also directed films like City of the Lost Children and Amelia. So Amelia was...
Amelie.
Emily, sorry.
Yeah.
Look, City of the Lost Children and Amelie.
Yeah.
I always think it was Amelia. I don't know why.
I don't know. I'm not going to answer your own failings for you.
I thought Yoplait was French for yogurt until someone at work told me it wasn't. My life was destroyed. She knows who she is. And it was written by Joss Whedon, or Joss Whedon. Who has created things like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Angel, and whatnot. He also directed films like Marvel Avengers and The Cabin in the Woods, and destroyed films like Justice League.
Joss Whedon, or as in France he's known, Joss Yeston. There we go.
Yeah. There'll be a womp, womp, womp later on. I'll put that in.
Oh, good, thanks. That won't be accompanied to any of your jokes, though, which I know.
No. Oh, we'll have like an applause. I'll get like the Oscars applause and I'll put it in there. I'll just insert it. Let's have a look at the box office and Rotten Tomato scores for the series of films. And I class Prometheus and Alien Covenant as a separate series. It's also just a cheat so I can do them later on. More content. Alien was released in 1979. The estimated budget for it was $11 million US. In 1997, to match inflation, I've marked it at $24.3 million. So if you're marking it at 1997, the same time as Alien Resurrection came out, it had the box office estimated budget of $24.3 million. Its box office in 1979 was $106.3 million US, which is huge. I think it was the biggest one. Obviously, Star Wars came out before it, so it was probably bigger.
Yeah, Star Wars would have been bigger, but that was very early because I think Jaws was the first film to break $100 million. So it was only fairly recent that films had started to do that, so it's still fairly unique.
Yeah. In 1997 terms, the $106.3 million it made was actually $235 million. So it's a huge chunk of money. The Rotten Tomato scores, do you know what critics gave Alien from 1979 on Rotten Tomato?
Oh, it's hard to tell with these things because it's very possible that they didn't like it, but I'm going to guess to say actually this one was quite well received critically.
You're going to guess what score, percentage-wise?
Oh, no idea.
98% is what critics gave it.
Oh.
So they love it. You're right.
Yeah,
they loved it.
Yeah.
Audiences gave it 94%. So they love it too. Like, there's not many people out there that go, Alien, that movie was average.
I think the 2% off was for the bit where you see Ian Holmes' fake head. He's a bit rubbish. But
Bilbo Baggins. Aliens from 1986 had an estimated budget of $18.5 million in 1986. The equivalent in 1997 was $28 million US, or just under that. The box office it made in 86 was $131.1 million US, so it's actually more than what Alien made. But its budget was higher. But an estimation for 1997, that would be $191.9 million US. So successful. So, off a budget of 18.5, it made 131, or equivalent 1997, 28, it made 191. So
it's actually slightly. So by the time James Cameron got to 1997 and was making Titanic, he was actually making a movie for more money than he'd made off of Alien.
Yes. He likes his big budgets from the 90s onwards. Like Avatar, look at that, $500 million.
Well, it's a quote I remember from James Cameron: "Less is not more, more is more." Much as I hate the man, that's fair enough.
Was he saying that when he was letting Kate Winslet drown in Titanic? And then... More is more water. She's drowning. More water.
If I could kill them, I would.
The Rotten Tomato scores for critics for Aliens is 97%. So it's higher than Alien.
I thought you said Alien was 98.
It was, sorry. It was 94 for audience. You're right. I was tricking you. You passed. I was testing you. You passed the test.
But it's always been a bit sort of like Godfather Part 2, isn't it? Some people like Aliens more, some people like Alien more.
I'm in the camp that likes Aliens more than Alien.
I'm Alien rather than Aliens, yeah.
I'm for Aliens. The audience gave it a 94% as well, so exactly the same as Alien. So there you go. Alien 3, this is where things start to change. Alien 3, that was released in 1992, estimated budget was $50 million. The equivalent of 97, because there's only 5 years difference, is $57 million that the budget was for. It made in the box office $159.8 million. The equivalent of 97 would be 182.8 million. So if you look at actually just numbers from Aliens, which made 131, this made 159. But the budget was 50 million compared to 18.5. $28 million if you're thinking in 1997 and $57 million for Alien 3. So it was more than twice the budget.
Yeah, I'm guessing the word of mouth probably didn't do Alien 3 very much good, did it? I think by the time the cinemas had gone by, everyone had just gone, I might not bother. Or not everyone, obviously, but a lot of people would have.
The problem I have with Alien 3 is it completely disregarded Aliens, pretty much. Instead, I'm going on my own one. Like, yeah, if it'd been like a spin-off or something where you didn't have to explain what happened.
I like Alien 3. I don't think it's great. It's definitely a film that is... You watch it and you can tell there's been a lot of problems in production. But what's good about it, I think, is really, really good. Controversial opinion. I'm not glad, but it doesn't bother me that Newton Hicks died at the beginning, because I think that's in keeping with the tone of the series. That it's actually very bleak and pessimistic, and it's about that harshness of nature and stuff like that.
And that Ripley is always alone?
Yeah, doesn't bother me.
Fair enough. So it's Rotten Tomatoes score. Let's see what critics gave it.
I'm guessing that's not great. I'm going to guess roughly about... I actually no. Do you know what? I reckon it's going to be slightly above average. So I'm going to guess 60%, something like that.
Critics gave it a rating of 45%.
Oh, okay.
It's under 50. Audience gave it a rating of 46%. Not very often the audience and the critics pretty much match up. Alien Resurrection, that was released in 1997. Its estimated budget is $75 million. It is the highest budgeted Alien film so far in the series. Currently, up to this one, we're not counting obviously Prometheus and Covenant. But yeah, estimated budget of $75 million. Its box office was 161.4, so it wasn't a flop. It made a fair bit of money. As you can see, as you look it up from Alien, obviously, well, Aliens, I should say. So Alien, it made a box office of, if we look at 1997, $235 million, or off a $24.3 million budget. Aliens, off a $28 million budget, made $191 million.
So they'd have had to have made 150 to break even. So they made a small profit.
Yeah, with Alien 3, it did $57.1 million budget of 97 inflation. It made 182, and then it's made 161, so it's going down. The amount's going down, so it's not as profitable as it once was. And the critic scores for Alien Resurrection, what do you think the critic score was?
I don't know, because I remember the very first review I ever saw of Alien Resurrection was 4 out of 5 in the Radio. I don't remember who the critic was, but it was in the Radio Times. So for a long time, I thought, they're all generally pretty good. Do you know what? I bet it's going to say it's higher than Alien 3.
You're right, it is higher than Alien 3.
Yeah, okay.
Critic score is 54%.
Really?
54. And audience score is 39. So the audience don't like it, but the critics just barely thought it was okay.
I bet I know why that is.
Drugs. Maybe they got an early screen and a couple dollars as well.
I heard it's a screening of occasionally. There used to be a distribution company in the UK who were notorious amongst critics, where they would always have fantastic catering at the critics screening. Yeah. So because the film was always terrible, so they thought they'd get so it was always well known. It would be bad movie, great catering.
I'm going for the food. I ain't lying. So you might say, looking at these scores, the correct 45 and 46 for Alien 3 and this one having a 54 and 39, why am I putting this one into the worst of the worst rather than Alien 3?
Because it is the worst?
I think it is. But it comes down to this close with the Rotten Tomatoes scores between them. It kind of comes down to what one I like less. And I think Alien 3 tried things and it may have not pleased everyone, but at least I think it's a better film.
Alien 3 is more in keeping with the tone of the series of the first two. And it has enough... It's patchy, but it has enough good stuff in there that you can sit and watch it. And you can happily watch it more than once. Yeah. There's a great movie in there. We'll never see that great movie. It's like Michael Mann's film, The Keep. There's a great movie in there, but we'll never see it. But what's there is interesting enough.
Yeah. So that's why we're going to Alien Resurrection. I think overall it's the worst film.
Yeah.
If you like what you hear or have any questions for the show, it may even be about Alien Resurrection. Why not contact us? You can go to our Nobody Does It Bennett Facebook page, or you can hit us up on the Twitter at NobodyDIBennett. You can also email us at nobodydoesitbennett@outlook.com. That's a Bennett with 2 N's and 2 T's. Nobody Does It Bennett is available on Spotify, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and now also YouTube. I actually just started to go through YouTube, so you can actually get this on YouTube as well.
You may not talk to me.
Or you can go to our webpage at nobodydoesitbennett.buzzsprout.com. If you like to listen, download, or subscribe to the show. Like and subscribe.
If you do the Adam Buxton podcast, like and subscribe. Like and subscribe.
Right, Simon.
Yes.
Get yourself prepared and ready. Because, ladies and gentlemen, this is Alien Resurrection from 1997.
Nobody does it, Bennett.
Right, let's go through the movie Alien Resurrection, Simon. I was going to watch the 2003 special edition version of Alien Resurrection, but as I started the movie, there was an intro from the director, Jean-Pierre Jeunet.
It's Jean-Pierre Jeunet.
Jeunet, is it?
Yeah.
Jean-Pierre Jeunet. Sorry, I sound terrible now. I can't believe it's not yogurt. Who stated the special edition was not a director's cut, as his final cut in the 1987 theatrical version was. The special edition was just a different cut rather than his full vision. So I watched the theatrical cut instead, since it's the version the director intended. Judge it on the intentions, not on the aftermath. Cut to a credit sequence that looks like morph shots of alien eggs. Opening reminded me a little bit of Independence Day. As the credits roll on, you start to get a mixture of disturbing alien and human body part images. I guess it's to symbolize what is happening with Ripley, and more importantly, Ripley's alien baby. Cut to a ship flying through space. Very Star Wars-like. Joss Whedon was the screenwriter to this film. I put that in case I forgot to put it earlier on. Joss Whedon was the screenwriter to this film.
I think you should just pepper that fact throughout the episode.
Remember, you hate the lines, Joss Whedon wrote this.
Do you know, I was just to say about the opening credits. I think the opening credits are actually quite good. The music fits, because I think it's based on the Jerry Goldsmith score, isn't it? And then, and all that sort of stuff. It's like the 2001 Planet of the Apes. The credits fool you into thinking you're going to watch something good, and then
Mark Wahlberg kisses a monkey.
Well, I mean, that was my favourite bit, I'll be honest with you. I enjoyed that. The lips meet the nostrils.
Text pops up on the screen. USM Auriga, medical research vessel, United Systems Military. You get your first look inside the ship with the familiar alien music playing. It has that that kind of eerie.
It doesn't sound so much like a snarky laugh.
A tube opens up to find a naked-looking young adult to teenage-sized baby inside the tube. I was getting serious teardrop by Massive Attack vibes at this. I don't know the words, right? I don't. No hair at all on the body, but I guess we're not supposed to know it's a clone yet. It's like, are we supposed to know?
I think that general took all the clones' hair.
He did.
He'd shaved it and run. That's why all the scientists were stood around. There was hair on this yesterday.
I want these on my shoulders. Immediately. Yes, General. Narration starts from Ellen Ripley. My mommy said there was no monsters. No real ones. As Ripley narrates, you can see the teenage-looking clone mature before your very eyes, and a hairless Ellen Ripley appears.
Yeah, that's the point. You don't hear any voiceover after that. No. It's just sort of there at the beginning, and yeah, it doesn't really.
Well, there's more, because then Ripley goes, but there are.
Oh, right, sorry, I beg your pardon. I stand corrected. It's like Casino all over again.
I'm surprised I didn't write a book about that whole narration. It's so huge.
The meaning behind the narration in Alien Resurrection has inspired its own subculture.
Well, it could have. Could be a series of books about it.
Yep, subculture. Back to yogurt again.
Resurrection of Alien Resurrection. A bunch of scientists inspect their clone and are all very pleased with it. They're like, this looks good. Gitterman, a scientist or a doctor, not sure which one, as he cuts open Ripley. You know, is he a doctor or is he a scientist?
He's a decaentist.
Decaentist.
Or a scientor.
We'll just call him Gitterman or Gitterman. Is it Gitterman? Gitterman?
Gitterman.
Gitterman sounds better. We'll go Gitterman. He cuts open Ripley, who now has hair, and pulls out an alien. All the scientists are amazed. The alien comes to life. Gotta say, the effects so far actually look really good. Like the practical effects.
The practical effects are really hold up. Regardless of the design for some of the later bits, the practical effects are really, really impressive. And by that stage, I think in the 90s, I mean, people had gone about the effects in the 80s, the sort of breakthrough effects, and you go, yeah, but actually you didn't get talked about enough. The practical effects, by the time we got to the 90s, was really, really impressive. I mean, you get things like the monster from In the Mouth of Madness and stuff. Have you seen In the Mouth of Madness, the John Carpenter? Oh, it's really good. It's got a monster in it, I can tell you that.
Wow. I only saw The Thing for the first time recently, and even in the 80s. Yeah, I only watched that like two or 3 weeks ago.
It's great, isn't it?
Even the effects in that look incredible, and that's 80s.
Oh, that's mind-blowing in that.
I'd say the effects in this does, for most part, the CGI, there's some cringe CGI, but other than that.
Nowadays, I think we start to feel a little bit bad because we know how hard CGI artists are made to work for all the sort of critical opprobrium and stuff, but back then, I think I'm more inclined to be harsher on it back then, because I remember that time when all those first CGI things were coming out, and we were constantly being bombarded with, the thing about CGI is it's like real life. You really can't tell the difference, and you always could.
And then you watch Escape from LA and go, what God on earth happened here?
Or even go back to the first Star Wars movie. I mean, no, sorry, not the first Star Wars movie, the episode 1.
Phantom Menace?
Yeah, they were banging on about, it's just like real life. You go, yeah, just like that real life where spaceships and robots are knocking about down the street.
Are those the same people who said Tomb Raider was just like real life on PlayStation with the triangle boobs?
Well, that's the time Madonna, I think, was doing the triangle, so it was a bit more believable.
Yeah, go on. Vogue. Let your body move to the music. Gitterman wants to keep Ripley alive. He gets permission to sew her back up. Cut to Ripley lying in some sort of silo-looking prison or holding cell. The top is a clear glass window which you can walk across. You see some guys like walking across. Imagine if you had crap on your shoes. You just have to smear it across the whole thing. So you look up, oh, someone hasn't cleaned their shoes. Yeah, as you get closer, you can see that Ripley is wrapped in some sort of tissue cocoon.
Do you know what? It looked not too dissimilar to the kind of material they actually wrap up armchairs with.
It kind of like that, and also just, I don't know, almost, I felt like tissue like you have for robes and stuff at hospitals.
I don't know why they thought they were going to keep her cocooned in that for long.
I think it's like, maybe used to show that Ripley has been reborn.
Yeah, they could have done it better though, couldn't they? With $75 million, they could have done...
Jim Carrey did it better in Ace Ventura 2 when he's coming out of the rhino.
That's it. That's what they should have done. They should have had her emerge from a fake rhino's anus.
Look, it's giving birth. Oh my God. Ripley starts to burst out of her medical cocoon. Ripley notices the scar that is on her chest. Ripley has a tattoo on her arm that looks like the number 8. She
rips through a lot of things. This probably was a giveaway that her name is Ripley.
Get it?
Yeah. So well,
we're going to pay you like $30 million to do this movie. No, you can tear through anything you want. Sign me up.
I'm going to tear through a bag of crisps.
Have you got a pen on you?
Have you got a wet paper bag? I think I could do that.
Gitterman examines Ripley. The head doctor/scientist guy asks, how's our number 8 today? Okay, so there's an 8 in her arm. You don't actually know it until he says that. Is it an 8? Is it an infinity logo? I don't know.
I assumed it was an 8. I suppose I didn't think about that.
That's why I put 8 as well. I assumed it
No
was...
one ever writes. No. Oh, yeah, because later on it does have that screen that says 1 to 7. Also, no one writes an infinity like that.
Maybe.
You fool.
In the future, 200 years from now, if they're doing that, like, see? That's all in the future?
That is infinity away.
Yep. Gitterman says Ripley appears to be in good health. In fact, Ripley is in excellent health, as in completely off the predicted charts. They look at Ripley's scar and see that she is healing rapidly fast. The head doctor scientist guy seems quite creepy, getting all up in Ripley's personal space. So Ripley starts to crush him with her legs. She breaks her cuffs off her metal holdings and starts to choke the creepy scientist guy. I start calling him Creepy Doc after this because he's creepy.
That's J.E. Freeman. He's no longer with us. But he was in 2 of the best crime movies of the 1990s. He was in Miller's Crossing by the Coen brothers, and where he played Eddie Dane. And he's in Wild at Heart, the David Lynch movie with Nicolas Cage and Laura Dern. But I just thought of something, and maybe this is nonsense, but it probably is. But because she's a clone, of course, cloning was quite big at that time because they. And I was.
So it was all the thing, all the rage.
Well, it was because they cloned Dolly the sheep, hadn't they? Yeah. So I wonder if the clone was as sexually kind of rampant as the clone Ripley. There's a farmer there who somewhere who's got some secrets.
Farmer Brown's like, oh my god. Like Titanic again on the couch. They paint me like one of your French sheep. A guard comes in and hits Ripley with some sort of energy gun to her head. He doesn't even say drop it or anything else. Shoot it. He just goes bam and shoots her right in the head.
And also, see, he should have been the guard who turned up later on when they were all having that fight in the gym. Because that other guard was just, saying put this thing down, and then gave a whole spiel about how he'd learnt the rules of when and where and why people should put their guns down. Whereas this other bloke just went up and oi!
Yeah, why didn't they all have the energy guns so they can knock people out straight away? Why do they have to have guns?
I don't know. Poor rubbish writing.
Come on, Joss. Sorry. Come on now, Joss.
Yeah, come on, Joss.
Cut to Ripley being taught how to speak and recognise items. As Ripley answers, Gitterman is telling some military bigwig that she is operating at a completely adult capacity. The military bigwig doesn't like that Ripley has some of her memories. It's an unexpected side effect from the aliens, as the aliens can pass memories down for generations. Did you know that before this?
No, but then the aliens hadn't really communicated that up to that point. They just sort of... They'd remained stum.
They didn't have the Gremlins kind of movie where they had that talk show guy who was really smart.
Yeah.
The glasses. The alien with the glasses.
They didn't have... you mentioned it, Independence Day earlier. They didn't have Jeff Goldblum making those free associative sort of assumptions about things.
Well, obviously that they can pass them down to down generations.
Yeah. Energy gun. Energy. We need to think. People need to think to remind themselves of things. They could remind things and pass their memories down the... I've got it! Thanks, Jeff Goldblum. Cheers. See you again next week. And yet, sadly, he hit the cutting room floor.
The military bigwig turns out to be a general, and he is thinking of termination, as he doesn't want Ripley to remember anything. The general was upset as Ellen Ripley died trying to wipe the species out. For all intents and purposes, she succeeded. The general isn't anxious for her to be taking up old hobbies. Get it? Because he doesn't want to kill the aliens. Old hobbies. Because I will say, what's wrong with golf?
Yeah. Yeah, she's...
Can I take out old hobbies and she's playing golf? It's like, it's begun.
And that general is played by Dan Hedaya, who's also in another Coen Brothers film, Blood Simple. He's in their first movie. He was in Nixon, the Oliver Stone movie.
No, I've seen that with Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah, Mulholland Drive. He's in loads of stuff.
I watched that recently for the first time as well.
Oh, have you seen that?
About
Okay.
2 or 3 weeks ago. And the guy who plays the director in that reminds me of James Gunn.
Yeah.
See, it was like, that's like James Gunn got his whole look from. The scientists say how they won't tell her, but the general is not comforted by this. The general then goes to an authorization control panel and uses his breath for identification. Yeah. Identify. Hello, General Perez. I'm like, ugh.
You have to re-edit the beginning of this so we don't introduce ourselves. So we just say, I'm... and I'm...
Identity. Hello, Simon. The machine says, thank you, General Perez. Not in that sexy way, though.
Probably the only thing to ever thanked him for breathing on them.
Yeah, well, not these days you wouldn't. Not in the day and age we live in.
No.
The general enters a room. He says that Ripley is just a meat byproduct who will be put down if she looks at the general funny just one time. Does it twice, though, it's fine.
Yeah.
But did it one time. problem. So she looked at me funny, but then she looked at me funny again. It was fine because it was twice. They then get to a holding area, and the general says that this here is the real Majesty. Apparently, they are waiting for some cargo to arrive. Perez and the team have themselves an alien queen. And she's expected to start laying eggs any day now. Horrible chicken farming.
I won't have my alien queen eggs, unless they're cage free.
Free range alien queen eggs, should we think?
That's why I always think the ending of the Alien movies is a good thing, because I don't like the way that they're kept caged, like so much battery chickens.
Cut to Gitterman with Ripley. They're eating food, funny enough, not eggs. Ripley looks at a fork and Gitterman says, "It's a fork." Ripley says a different word that I can't say here, as this is a non-swearing podcast. Ripley asks Gitterman how they got her. Gitterman explains how they used blood samples from Fiore 16 on ice, where Ripley died. Let us use your blood, just like dino DNA.
I like the fact that that planet was named after a game show, Fury 3 on Ice.
Yeah. Yet they were just like a game show planet.
Yeah, it's just B-list celebrities skating around the place.
And a voiceover guy just ran the whole planet.
Sponsored by cage-free alien queen eggs.
America's favourite game, Fiore on Ice. Gitterman explains how they remade her. Ripley asks if the alien has grown. Gitterman says yes, rapidly. Ripley then explains how it is a queen. So the alien queen we saw before was the one in Ripley. Gitterman asks how Ripley knew that.
I don't know how you could say yes rapidly. It's a very rapid word.
Yes.
That's probably longer than the word yes.
Ripley's like, she'll breed. You'll die. Everyone in the company will die. And Gitterman's like, in the company? What are you talking about? And Creepy Doc's like, oh, Wayland, you tunny. Ripley hates former employers.
See, this dialogue in this movie is it's just not good, is it? Because you go back to the first Alien, what was brilliant about it was the banality of the dialogue, in the sense that it wasn't epic, generic dialogue. It was kind of like they were talking about wages and like when they're going to get holiday and stuff because they're space truckers. Yeah. But in this one, it's like, well, we were saying towards the end with Santoro or whatever his name was, just I'm a generic soldier.
And he is.
Yeah.
He's a generic soldier for the whole movie.
There's generic things to say, which is in keeping with his role as generic soldier. But yeah.
Are you sure you can fly this thing? It's like, how more generic can you get?
Sure you can fly this thing? No, but, I just thought I'd give it a pop.
Creepy Doc goes on to say, Terran growth conglomerate. They had defense contracts under the military. I think you'll find that things have changed a great deal since your time. He sounds just like pretty much Paul Reiser's character from Aliens. It's like, come on, just give us a chance. Yeah. And Ripley's like, I doubt that. We're not flying blind here, It's United Systems military, not some greedy corporation. Well, it won't make any difference. You're still going to die. I like that. It's like the Red Queen in Resident Evil. You're all going to die down here. Creepy Doctor still tries to convince Ripley that they're doing this for the goodness of humanity. New alloys, new vaccines, etc. Then the Creepy Doctor talks about how the alien itself is wondrous. Unbelievable. Unbelievable! And once they tame them, they'll be amazing. It's like, once they tame them.
And all you need, they've got all that space stuff, and all you need is a whip and a chair.
Get over here, alien.
Start calling them Dasher and Basher.
It's funny you mentioned Jeff Goldblum before, because I got here. Let me borrow a line from Jeff Goldblum from the movie The Lost World, Jurassic Park. Oh yeah, ooh, that's how it always starts. Then there's running and screaming. Because they're talking about how amazing and magical it is. And then...
I'd never noticed that, of course, is that line gets referenced in Spaced. And I'd never noticed that before.
There you go.
Ah.
Everything anyone has ever said could be traced back to a Jeff Goldblum line.
Even the people who've lived before him. Yeah. Veni Vidi Vici was originally Veni Vidi Vici.
Yeah, I was watching a film from the 1920s and went, well, there it is. And I'm like, they just borrowed Jeff Goldblum's line.
Veni Vidi Vici is actually Latin for you scientists were so wrapped up in whether you could, you didn't stop to think whether you should.
Oh, really?
That's actually true. That's, yeah. Julius Caesar is actually Latin for Jeff Goldblum.
Just mentioned Julius Caesar now as Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah. No wonder everyone stabbed him to death at the end.
And I was like, ooh, and there was running and screaming.
When he did get stabbed, though, every single time, ooh, like a mild irritation.
And then he's like just lying down like in Jurassic Park with all the wounds.
I'm not getting called back for the sequel.
Ripley tells Creepy Doc that you can't teach these alien tricks. Creepy Doc says, why not? We're teaching you.
Catty.
The sheer arrogance of the man is delightful. I can't wait for him to die horribly.
Which one? Hang on, which one's a Creepy Doc now? Is it J.E. Freeman or is it Brad Dourif?
No, he's Freeman. Brad was not creepy. He's just out of it.
He's a bit creepy.
He's a bit delusional.
I wouldn't let him near my alien.
But he's at least nice to Ripley.
Yes, yeah, so yeah, okay. He's the proper bad guy.
He is. He gets a name rather than he doesn't get Creepy Doc. He gets Kidman. Cut to another spaceship approaching the US Auriga. Auriga or Auriga. The other ship is called the Betty Commercial Freighter. Standing crew of 6. Is that including the guy in the wheelchair?
One of the very little things I thought was quite good in the movie where the ship was called the Betty, and the only reason I say that is because my dad used to be captain of a merchant ship called the Betty Sea. So the Betty used to get referred to as the Betty, so that rang true with that kind of nautical thing.
So that's your dad's ship in the future?
Yes. I couldn't see my dad in any of those characters.
Well, it's probably a good thing, because most of them... Is any of them actually likeable? I see Reese, the wheelchair guy, Reese. He's probably the most likeable out of them.
Well, nominally he's meant to be likeable. I would say the actor's performance is not very likeable. It's rather irritating.
He's not a complete dick.
No, he's not. I mean, he's got some level of compassion for other people on the planet, but it's annoying though, isn't it? I mean, let's just get this out of the way.
That's all you got to say to be
you
likeable.
You just don't give a monkeys about this crew, do you?
No.
And all the previous ones, even Alien 3, you cared about, even though you got a bit confused about which bald bloke was which, you know. I mean, yeah, you could get them lost in a tin of baked beans, couldn't you? But But you kind of did care about when people were getting, off and stuff. And I think a lot of it is down to the direction. I mean, Jean-Pierre Jeunet is just not right for this stuff. Because I was thinking about the look of it. The DP is Darius Khondji, who's a Iranian-born Frenchman, who... This was his first Hollywood thing. He'd worked with Jean-Pierre Jeunet before in Delicatessen and City of Lost Children. And his career since has been amazing. I mean, he was DOP on Seven in 95. So he worked with David Fincher, although he didn't do Alien 3. And some of the shots in this are really, really good looking. I mean, in many ways, it's a really good looking movie. But when it's very definitely Jean-Pierre Jeunet's, like those short lenses with that kind of fisheye look, and it starts to look really rubbish. And anytime it goes to an action scene, they're badly edited and blocked and stuff. So it's sort of anything that is Jean-Pierre Jeunet's is a very Jean-Pierre Jeunet thing is rubbish and doesn't work.
Seems like Perez has hired some sort of mercenary crew. They are showing getting their weapons locked and loaded. Even see a little bit of 90s video game called Atom Zone, apparently. Look very 90s.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. It looked like the kind of video game arcade thing you'd see in a chip shop.
If you want to know what a chip shop, it's a takeaway shop.
That ship looked an awful lot like some chip shops I've been in.
They're hygienic.
Michael Wincott is in the thing, and he's a really great actor. You know, he's in Dead Man and Strange Days and Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
Is that the guy with the really sexy deep voice?
Yeah. She is. What was? Oh, I can't repeat the line I was going to repeat. Yeah. But even his character's immediately not likable. You know, he's just sort of like, there's something I'd never get bored of seeing, a nice young woman strapped up in a chair. And you just go, I don't, you know. He's got a great line in Dead Man, but because apparently I found this out, right? Michael Wincott, ideally, he doesn't read the script. He improvises everything. Obviously, I'm imagining when he was in Hollywood stuff, he was made to do the script.
You look at this script and go, yeah, I can see why.
Yeah. But in Dead Man, he improvised all his lines. And Jim Jarmusch tells a story that he said to Michael Wincott, oh, look, he'd give him the rough idea of what the scene would be, and he'd say, look, the sun's going to go down soon, and I just need a line of dialogue. And he goes, okay, just leave it with me. And he says, well, what have you got? He says, you'll know. All right, we'll find out. So you go, well, all right. And he comes out with this brilliant line. He goes, don't you love it how it just at night time where it just sort of gets dark kind of gradually? I mean, what if lights just all went out at once and scared the bejesus out of you?
Gradual. It's better.
It's a better line of dialogue than any line of dialogue in this movie.
And it's true. Like, now you think about it, it's like, yeah, he's right.
Yeah.
It would scare me of like, oh God, it's nighttime.
It just went,
Yeah.
oh, okay. Time to put my pajamas on.
You were introduced to Winona Ryder's character of Anna Lee Cool, which never gets called Anna Lee in this at all. She's just called
No, I didn't know what her name was.
Anna Lee Cool. So
I mean, I didn't care, but...
her name is Anna Lee Cool, who was part of the Betty's crew, as well as Ron Perlman's character of Jonna.
Jonna, yeah, not Jonah, Jonna.
Jonna, yeah, Johner. Jonna, who is making ape noises and drops a knife into a guy named Varice's leg.
Yeah, and he does the monkey thing,
Yeah.
and he never does it again. It's not like it's a character trait.
It's how you're introduced to him, too. It's like, what?
Is he going to do this all the way through? Oh, no, but I'm not sure. I mean, it was annoying anyway, so I don't know if I'd have liked it if he'd have done it all the way through. But then it's some brief moment where you think, oh, this is going to be quite individual. For better or worse, it's going to be quite individual. And then he becomes super generic again.
Yeah, because you see like the cloning things, like, did they put more ape blood in him than most other humans?
Yeah.
I don't know.
And he'd also been in Jean-Pierre Jeunet's previous film, City of Lost Children. All right. He's an interesting one, Ron Perlman, because he early 90s, he was doing Kronos with Guillermo del Toro in Mexico. He was doing stuff in Europe and whatnot.
And then he did Blade 2 with Del Toro as well.
Yeah.
And then he went on to do Hellboy, obviously, as well.
He's just a Nightmare Alley.
Yep. And Sons of Anarchy.
Sons of Anarchy. Yeah, he's done loads of stuff.
Yeah. And he was also in another one, Del Toro's. He was in Pacific Rim.
Yeah, and he's in Drive.
Oh, Drive's good.
Yeah,
good movie.
Great movie.
As Varice is a paraplegic, Jonna thinks it's funny that he can't feel it by throwing a knife down on him. Cole breaks his knife, so Jonna can't get it. Jonna threatens Cole to be careful, as he's not a man to mess with. It's like, he's got all these generic lines right through the movie.
Yeah, that's a red flag, isn't it?
I'm not a man to be messed with. It's like...
Yeah. Oh, right. Are you not? Okay. I bet someone does, though.
He's the first person in Hollywood to say that line. The Betty arrives and docks with the USM Ariga. The Betty crew are checked for weapons as they get on board. An alert for weapons comes up for Jonna, but it turns out to be a metal drinking flask. My own recipe. Way more dangerous.
Yeah, and they never say what it is either. It's just some alcohol. Moonshine kind of thing. Yeah.
What is this, battery acid?
What is battery acid? Oh,
What happened? I slapped my knee.
The witticisms come thick and fast in this movie, don't they? It's like, I mean, I think the most offensive thing about this whole thing is that they dug up Oscar Wilde and made him write this screenplay.
It really feels like it. Frank Elgin, the captain of the Betty, asked Perez why they needed to be checked for weapons. Perez says that he wants to make sure that one of the Elgin's crew doesn't get drunk and put a bullet through the hole. To be fair, I can believe that because they're all idiots.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a not unfounded criticism.
It's not unreasonable.
Yeah.
Perez hands Elgin over a fat stack of cash. Elgin has some cargo for Perez. Perez fixes Elgin a drink. The drink is a solid cube that when you put it in a glass and hit it with a particular laser, becomes a drink.
That was the one bit of CGI that was quite well done. It wasn't great, but it was sort of like, it was a nice idea as well, I suppose. But
And the way the laser looked and designed, like obviously it's got a laser at the end, so it wouldn't be the same. But it reminds me of like the coffee machines of today.
Yeah.
The capsules, it's the future. It's like, ooh, we're gonna get cubes soon.
A cube of whiskey.
Yeah.
So presumably a pint of beer would be a larger cube.
Would it be cold or warm though?
Yeah. I presume, what is a cube? I guess it's an ice cube by that point. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, if they can make spaceships, I imagine they can make cold cubes.
Yeah. The most important question in Alien Resurrection, was the cube hot or cold? Email us at nobodydoesitbennett@outlook.com or go to the Facebook page.
It's probably already got its own forum.
Perez asks Elgin about his new crew member. Apparently Cole is new to the team. Elgin says how Cole has been a tad curious about the cargo they acquired. Elgin keeps letting Perez know that he knows this project that Perez is doing isn't an official project. Perez asks Elgin what he wants. Elgin asks if he and his crew can stay on board their Aruga for the next 2 days or so. Perez agrees to this request.
See, I'd already kind of clocked out by this point in terms of like the rubbish dialogue. You just thought, I'm not really, So it's just this sort of thing of, we hate each other. We can't bear the sight of each other. Can we stay another couple of days? All right, okay, fine.
I know this is illegal. I know what you're doing out here in the outer rooms is illegal. So what do you want? I want to stay here for 2 more days. Like, that's such a low ball kind of thing to ask for.
And it's one of those things, it's easy to sound like a snob in this sort of situation. I hope I haven't thus far. Yeah. But because it's an alien movie, all right? You know aliens are going to come along and kill people. That's what you want from an alien movie. But when it's done in such a trite manner, they spent more time on that bloody cube of whiskey than they did sorting out the plot.
It thinks it's smarter than what it is, and it's just like, you're just generic, mate. Everything's generic.
Yeah, it thinks by default of being an alien movie, it's better than all that.
Cut to Ripley showing off her mad basketball skills.
Yeah. I bet LeBron James has got like a really worn out VHS of this one.
This is the scene. She slam dunks the ball, but I don't think that hoop was regulation height.
I like Sigourney Weaver, and I don't want to be horrible. I don't think she did those. Maybe I'd. How many listeners do you have to this? Because I don't want to say too much, but I don't think she did that.
The mad basketball skills, apart from when she grabbed the ball with like one hand. Don't know when that mad.
Yeah, that was like, what, did she have like chewing gum stuck on her palm or something like that? That doesn't make any sense at all. No.
But like the rest of them weren't really that mad skills. It's like, she's just tossing the ball back and forth.
Yeah, she's faster than Ron Perlman. It's like, well, with all due respect to Ron Perlman, he doesn't look like the fastest tool.
He's not the NBA elite player that we know him.
There's me trying to be all sneery, and I said something really stupid. He's not the fastest tool.
I put here, this is a dagger in the movie. Like, it's a dagger that I stab them watching there in their eyes as they die. Because I put here, this part reminds me of a basketball scene in Halle Berry's film, Catwoman.
Ah, and the visual effects guy was that Pitoff who did Catwoman. Alien Resurrection has all the very worst that French cinema has to offer.
We need a basketball scene. Why? We just need a basketball scene in there.
And we need lots of Dutch angles. Yeah. I got nothing against Dutch angles. Like someone like Danny Boyle does it really well, or Oliver Stone or whatever, but this is just, it's Battlefield Earth levels of just, it'll look crazy if you tilt the screen on a diagonal angle.
I can especially that meme from Prometheus and Alien Covenant. It's like, I want to see the best basketball skills. And I'll show like LeBron James. And I'll go, I said the best basketball skills. I'll show the Harlem Globetrotters. I said the best. And I will show Sigourney Weaver in this film. You'll go, perfection.
The basketball sequence in this is, and we've brought up LeBron James, is probably worse than Space Jam 2.
It's okay if you want to know what Warner Brothers IPs they own, because they'll tell you. It'll tell you what IPs they own.
I heard there's like references to The Devils and A Clockwork Orange in Space Jam 2, because kids love those movies.
Pennywise is in the crowd watching the game. As you do. And even there's a line from Don Cheadle who goes, King Kong ain't got nothing on me, like Denzel Washington from Training Day.
I mean, why?
Because everyone remembers Training Day. Hey,
who's that movie aimed at?
The Betty crew meet Ripley. Jonah tries to hit on Ripley while also trying to grab the ball off her. Seems like he can't do either, right?
As if that was going to be super predictable as well. That one of them was going to try and get off with her.
You know I can't resist the tall ones.
I'm good at other indoor sports. I mean, it's like oh, what was that god awful XXX3 where that secretary character is like.
Is that the Return of Zen in the Cage?
Yeah, and she's like, oh, I know all about you or whatever. And he literally says, I know mouth to mouth if possible. It's, what are you, 10 years old? This is ludicrous.
See, I'm lucky. I haven't seen that film.
Oh, I had to review it, and I was just. I think Vin Diesel's ego should get an Oscar.
Jonah starts sniffing Ripley's hair and asking her to give him the ball. So, she does.
That always gets, in my experience, that makes women like you a lot. Yeah. If you smell their hair and try to get any balls they have on them, try and get them off.
I'm invading your personal space. How about you give me something?
Look, if you're not going to invade my personal space, I'm going to have to do it myself.
Ripley sends her ball into Jonah's balls. And then she elbows him to the ground. It's like a nasty elbow, too. Christy, another member of the crew with long dreadlocks, starts to smack Ripley in the face with weightlifting weights. Like, that's just... I know, like, he knocked down a guy, but why do you grab weights and start smacking her in the face with a weight? It's a bit overkill.
Well, it evidently wasn't, because Had no effect at all. It was weird because it gave her a nosebleed, but there was no bruising. It didn't break her nose or anything. No. It's like it just slightly sort of popped her.
No, whoops, a bit of snot came out, but there's blood in it.
Sheer coincidence. I had a bit of raspberry ripple up there, and it just thanks. That's dislodged that.
I was going to go see the doc about it later, but now it's fine.
Yeah.
Creepy Doc comes in applauding and saying Ripley's name. As he says Ripley, you can see Cole's stunned reaction, like, that's Ripley. Oh my God.
She rips through things, I've heard.
I've heard she can rip through anything. Nylon, leather.
Plastic, but not too much plastic.
Not too much.
She can rip through a book like nobody's business. She's so fast at reading.
Ripley wipes the blood from her nose and flicks it on the ground. Jonna asks Ripley, what the hell are you? Ripley then starts walking away. I think that's more like the other guy's voice, isn't it? And he's more like, what the hell are you?
I'm a generic soldier. What the hell are you?
Generic soldier. Ripley then starts walking away, but throws the basketball behind her and straight through the hoop. So, she's a Harlem Globetrotter.
Oh, and she does that thing where she spins the ball on her finger, and she evidently hasn't done that. I don't even believe that she actually did the basketball behind her. I think she threw it up out of shot.
Someone dropped it.
Someone threw it, yeah.
Otherwise, you'd be there for hours.
Yeah.
The blood that Ripley threw on the ground is starting to eat through the floor like acid. Cut to later. Algin has given his crew partner lover, Sabra Hillard, a sensual foot massage.
Yeah, that was another one, wasn't it? There's no reason for that scene at all. It's just to show her ass.
And he's like, oh, it's going up. Oh, he's giving her a foot massage. All right, then.
Hey, kids, ladies have bums. Oh, you're not old enough to watch this. Sorry.
Well, she's still wearing panties.
Yeah, I know, but she may as well not be. I mean, it's just...
True. Perez is shining his boots. Perez is looking for some parts for something, while Cole, Jonna, and Christy watch an intergalactic shopping channel while drinking Jonna's homebrew. They're watching a shopping channel.
Yeah, no, they're watching infomercials.
What the heck? This is where Cole says the most generic, strong alcohol line ever. Jeez, Jonna, what did you put in this thing? Battery acid?
But they were high-fiving in the writer's room when they come up with that one. Joss, one day you're going to be a really, really famous writer.
Certain theatres, like the emergency room emergency was that people rolled their eyes too hard, and now they're blind.
Yeah, now they can only see the insides of their heads. Yeah. So
quickly, like give them something strong, and they're like, "What'd you put in this battery acid?" Cuts are getting him back in the experiment chamber where all the people have been killed and now housing fully grown aliens. So that's kind of creepy, that scene when they're all...
Yeah, but I suppose we'll talk about this in a bit, but that leads to one of the big kind of really stupid plot points. But yeah, that's...
It's terrifying because we already mentioned it before, like when the pods are opening up and going to their face.
Sorry, that bit. Yeah, no. Do you know what? No, I don't think it is. I get where you're coming from, but it's
I mean, from their point of view, if you woke up and all of a sudden you saw a face hugger in your face.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah,
scary from their point of view.
I can kind of see it, but I think the way it's done, it's just not that scary. It just comes across like a kind of a mad scientist thing from another movie, like not from the Alien franchise.
As I would have had the person in first person view, and then waking up slowly, and then only when they fully wake up, then you see that thing jump at you.
Yeah, but Jean-Pierre Jeunet just needs to see some more people with crossed eyes. Just
looking at the screens.
Bog eyes just go.
But now they're actually being killed, and now they're all aliens in that pod. But the bodies aren't there anymore. Did they move the bodies away? Because later on they go in the chambers and the bodies are all there if the chest bursts out.
Yeah.
So, but when they look in the chamber, they're not in there.
Oh, yeah, I noticed that. It's more rubbish than I thought it was.
Oh my God, there's more plot holes in this. Oh my God, this movie that's so strong and tight.
You've ruined this film for me now. Alien ruination, that's what I'll call it.
That's the one thing that ruins it for you. All those people deserve to die. That's talking about the science people. All right. They all deserve to die.
Yeah.
Everyone. No one deserves to live in this movie. Not even Ripley.
Yeah, well, actually, yeah. Well, that's kind of it. I mean, they've made an Alien movie where you don't really care about Ripley. One, it's a clone. Two, it's a clone that doesn't really have any of the personality traits that the original Ripley. It's a different character. Yeah. And you don't really care. I don't know, Sigourney Weaver needed to put a kid through college or something? I don't know.
Only one I kind of slightly care about is the robot. And I won't say who's the robot is. Find out if you haven't watched this yet. If you haven't watched this, why are you listening to a podcast about people talking about it?
Oh, I do that every now and again. I listen to a slasher movie podcast. Well, to be honest, if I didn't listen to the ones that I wasn't going to watch the movie, I wouldn't listen to very many of the episodes.
It's easy to follow along with us as well. So if you don't know what happens and who the robot is, stay tuned.
This may not sound great, but it is better than watching Alien Resurrection. So in this instance, do listen to it before you watch it.
Like and subscribe. The alien still looks superb in this. The dripping of all the fluid from the mouths of teeth. Terrifying.
Yeah, again, the practical effects. I mean, hats off for that one. I mean, obviously they've had almost 20 years to perfect them, but even still, I mean, how many franchises have you seen where actually the monster has gotten worse? Because it used to happen a lot in like, the Planet of the Apes, going back to Planet of the Apes, if you go to, you can, because there was a weird thing, I don't know when it changed, but for a long time, there was a weird thing where if you had a successful movie, they would give them less money to make the sequels. So all the early things like Dracula and Frankenstein and whatnot, but Planet of the Apes, if you get to the original Planet of the Apes run, by the time you get to Battle for the Planet of the Apes, you can see it's people who've just got the masks on and the mouths are barely moving. It's really rubbish. Yeah. So the fact that they've actually put the effort in and they look better, and yes, they've maybe used a bit too much KY. I mean, I don't know what they have planned for later, but...
They're dripping. They're absolutely oozing, those aliens.
They're hardly putting off those French stereotypes, are they?
Gitterman grabs one of the pods and brings it into an isolated chamber for further inspection. The alien then starts to headbutt the chamber glass. Gitterman puts his face up towards the glass, trying to mimic the alien's actions, and it looks like trying to make out with it. It's like, oh, look at that mouth, big boy.
Yeah, it's that KY. I knew that went somewhere. That was on my bedside table earlier. That should be the tagline: the Alien franchise keeping KY going since 1979.
Gitterman then presses a big red button. It starts up some sort of smoke or steam in the alien pod, causing the alien some distress, but you don't know what exactly it is. Later on, you'll find out. The alien doesn't like that and approaches the glass. As he does, Gitterman puts his hand over the big red button, which causes the alien to stop. The alien is learning. Cut to Jonna, Christy, and Cole still watching the shopping channel. Cole tries to grab her drink with boxing gloves on, for some reason.
Yeah, why does that happen?
It's because she's pretending to be drunk.
Yeah, but that's still a bit...
If you've got to ask yourself, why is a drunk person doing that, then you've already failed.
No, I was like... no.
We've worked at too many retail shops that involve drunk people.
That's over-gilding the lily, isn't it? I mean, I'll really make them think I'm drunk. Why not just seem a bit drunk and go, I'm turning in early?
If they're angry at her, they won't go looking for her for a longer time. Maybe, I don't know. It doesn't explain it. This is the script, all right? It's the script.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, she spills the drink in the cup. Jonna is pissed that she wasted some of his homebrew and tells Cole to take a walk outside. Outside where? Like they're in a ship.
Yeah, walk outside, yes.
Total Recall with the eyes.
Yeah.
Oh.
And again, that could be, I mean, given the context of this movie, that could be an intentionally witty line. But the movie's so rubbish, it's like lines like that just sound stupid.
Take a walk outside. It's like he took it from another movie and didn't replace it. Like the person actually went outside.
The original line was, damn it, I was only 2 days from retirement.
Yeah. Oh, that line. Give me your badge and your gun. You're just a loose cannon there. Cole drunkenly stumbles away and slurring, I'm sorry. But once the door closes, she's on her own and she goes back to acting normally. It was all an act.
Ta-da!
Cole goes to a secured room. She has a bunch of wee spray bottles. When the control pad asks for identification, she starts using the spray bottles. This shows you how disgusting that breath machine is. That it's liquid that she sprayed on there and it's the breath test. It's gross.
Yeah, I agree.
After 2 or 3 attempts, the door says, "Thank you, General Perez." What is Cole up to? Cole is in Ripley's room. Cole pulls out a knife from her boot. Cole has the knife over Ripley when she notices the scar on Ripley's chest and inspects it. Ripley says, "Well, you gonna kill me or what?" Cole's like, "There's no point, is there? They've taken it out of you. Where is it? Is it on the ship?"
Yeah, she's not great in this movie, is she, Winona Ryder?
No,
she was never the best actress, was it? actor. Sorry, I beg your pardon. But she's better now. Like I saw that miniseries she did, Show Me a Hero, and she was really good in that.
Well, she was like in like Little Women and stuff earlier on in her career, and Edward Scissorhands and Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice, she's great.
It's sort of like good as the stroppy goth teen, but anything else, she was a bit. Oh, Night on Earth, she's all right, but a lot of stuff she wasn't great.
Mr. Deeds as well, she was great in that.
I confess I have failed to catch up with that one.
It's got Steve Buscemi as well. All the gang. Where is it? Is it on the ship? And Ripley's like, you mean my baby? I don't get it. If they took it out, why are they keeping you alive?
So again, if you haven't seen the movie, Greg's reading is better than Winona Ryder's.
And then here's talking. And Ripley's like, well, they're curious. I'm the latest thing. Because they got to sound a little sexier.
Yeah, she's doing that all the time. It's like there's this constant sort of like she's in heat. Yeah. Like if an alien will give birth to a half human, half cat hybrid. And then it's bloody Catwoman again. This is actually the prequel to Catwoman.
Prequel/sequel because in the future.
Who knew that 2004 Catwoman was actually an alien sequel?
Cole tells Ripley that she can make all the pain stop. Ripley grabs Cole's knife and puts it through her own hand. What makes you think I would let you do that? Who are you? Ripley, Alan, Lieutenant First Class, number 36706. Alan Ripley died 200 years ago. That's the way she says it. You're not her. I'm not her?
I mean, you'd have got to the end of that script and you'd have gone, yeah, I'll probably come back to that scene and just pep it up a lot.
I think this is where I stopped for a while and said, I'm going to go take a break after this.
Yeah.
It doesn't get better than this when it comes to screenwriting.
I mean, is there any reason why it's 200 years later?
No, because it's like 60-odd years later in Aliens. Maybe it's like, let's just make it better, because longer means...
It's a bigger movie. Why don't we make it bigger time? I mean, obviously, she was engulfed in a lake of fire in the last movie, so it was going to be pretty hard to bring her back, but...
She fell into a burning lake of fire. She went down, 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 but the baby went into the future.
Alien 5, Walk the Line.
Cole tells Ripley that she is a thing, a construct that they grew in a lab. Ripley says they didn't get all the alien out of her. She can still feel it inside of her.
That's another bit. She's got Winona Ryder's hand, and she's like, but it's like Winona Ryder's hand is like a fake hand because the fingers aren't moving. So she's just sort of like pointing it towards her hand, sort of roughly around it.
Cole asks for Ripley's help to kill the alien before it gets loose. Ripley says it's too late. You can't stop it. Ripley says that no one will get out alive, then tells Cole to get out as they're looking for her. Cole leaves Ripley's cell and has a gun pointed to her head. Creepy Doc says how Cole is going to regret that. The Betty crew are all rounded up and held at gunpoint in the basketball courtroom. I think it's the same room. They said it's the mess hall, but it looks like the basketball courtroom.
Yeah, that confused me as well, because I thought that's not much of a mess hall, is it? Because there's nowhere to bloody well sit.
It looks like the exact same room.
Yeah.
Creepy Doc says he will not tolerate terrorist behaviour. Cole says how they have nothing to do with it. Christie prepares his built-in hand pistols. Christie is ordered by Elgin to start firing on the guards. After he shoots them, he'll investigate it. Who are you? Who? I really want to know.
This scene is a harbinger of worse things to come, though, isn't it? Because it's like, again, the action in it is really badly edited. It's all the Dutch angles, the tilted angles, the bad blocking, and again, that bit where the guard is like pointing the gun at your man with the 2 pistols. Oh, it's just that really rubbish, and he's yelling at him the conditions of putting your guns down. And they're saying he can't put his guns down, and then there's a sort of look exchange between him and Jonna, and then he goes, "Shut up" or whatever, and then fires. It's so stupid. Fires the gun at the ceiling, knowing somehow that it's going to go bing, 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 bing around the room and through the bloke's head.
And you think that'd be a payoff later on when he's trying to shoot the alien on the ladder?
Yeah.
He can't get to him because he can't shoot him directly. He's like, I know, maybe I can do that payoff I did before and ping it off something. But no, they wouldn't do that.
It's just a stupid thing. They used to do a lot of that in the late 90s, early 2000s. They'd be like, this is going to be so cool. And no. and the world's population went, no.
We are 34 minutes into the movie and finally some action. Because apart from the fight scene with Ripley, This is pretty much the first action.
Yeah.
The Betty crew dispatch all the guards. The scientists and guards are all distracted by the incident that they don't notice that the 3 aliens in the chamber are all plotting with one another. 2 of the aliens turn on the other one and start to rip it apart. The blood for the mutilated alien corpse starts to eat through the floor grating.
They've thought up to have glass that the aliens can't penetrate, but not anything else. It does make one wonder if the blood had hit that bit of glass, would it have just melted anyway? And then there's also this whole thing that the alien... It happens a lot during the movie. Like, aliens will just explode with blood and nothing else will get touched. No. Except as and when it's convenient for the plot.
Because the wall as well got splattered, but nothing of that actually burned through. Yeah. It's inconsistent.
I don't know. I don't want to be one of those people who's...
this doesn't work because actually I think you'll find that the movie's set in 1913, but the guns that the people are using in the background wasn't actually used until 1917.
I don't want to be that person.
Well, no,
but...
You're right, though. But rules have been established in this world, and they're not following them.
Yeah.
Getterman tries to smoke the aliens, but they've already escaped.
I hate it when people smoke aliens.
Gonna smoke you.
I'm a 40 alien a man day.
Sideways gun. Getterman opens up the chamber door to inspect the mutilated alien corpse and the hole that was created by it. Getterman looks down the hole that has gone through several levels, but when he does, he is grabbed by an alien hand. Female scientist yells his name from the other side of the glass. Cole was explaining why she was seeing Ripley, telling the group about how dangerous the aliens are. When Christie yells for silence, he can hear an alarm going off.
Again, much like my skills with a gun, my skills with my own ears will never be referenced again. No. But I've actually got space ears that can hear things that no one else can.
Perez wakes up in his bed due to the alarm. This man has the hairiest shoulders I've ever seen on a man.
Yeah, I think his shoulders were played by Martin Scorsese's eyebrows.
Like, the rest of his body wasn't that hairy. Like, it was hairy, but not shoulder.
No, they'd obviously sort of coiffed them.
Maybe he shaved everything else but forgot to shave his shoulders.
Yeah, they promised him in his contract that they would not show his shoulders in the movie.
It's like military honours to have like big shoulders.
Yeah.
Have the general stars on his hair.
The more stars you've got, then the more your hair sort of Cadillac shoulders.
A security guard with a gun is next to go into the chamber with the alien carcass and hole. He's investigating the hole, but on the outside of the glass, something is slobbering all over the big red button. It's like a lot of slobber coming down. It's like, oh.
It's like my Uncle Colin's old boxer dog, Lloyd.
Was he in this movie too?
He played the aliens. Boxer dog in an alien costume.
An alien head pops up into screen. The alien hits the big red button. The security guard starts to freeze. So that's what the smoke was. It's a freezing chamber. But it doesn't really tell you when the aliens are in there what it is. But once you see the guy freezing, you're like, okay.
It obviously has a different effect on it. It just sort of mildly irritates them into subservience, whereas anyone else, it freezes them.
Sure, the only regret that security guard has is that he didn't bring in some Coke cans. Delicious, ice-cold Coca-Cola. It's to die for.
Or some Coors Light. Yeah. If only it had been Jean-Claude Van Damme in denim.
The security guy completely freezes up. His gun sticks to the wall. So the guard goes to unstick his arm. But instead, his whole arm rips off. The guard completely freezes. Kind of reminds me of Terminator 2 when the Terminator's walking through.
Yeah.
He's like ripping his
T-1000?
Yeah, T-1000. He's ripping his own body parts off. That's a much better film, though. The alien on the other side starts screaming. You can see condensation coming from its breath. And you know, that's like really cool.
Yeah, that reminded me of the bit at the beginning of Dog Day Afternoon where they were quite cold and the breath was coming out of their mouths. Yeah, I didn't know. It reminded me of Barney the dinosaur on a cold day. It reminded me of Margaret Thatcher naked on a cold day.
Come on now, Austin Powers it. Yeah, I thought it was quite good detail showing the breath. And the alien looks proud of his actions. So, yeah, I did that. Cut to Ripley. She
This is a higher level of irony than our species is known for.
pulls out a monocle, as I say. The classiest alien. Cut to Ripley. She hears and senses the aliens. Ripley smiles. That's the thing about Ripley, like, through this film is you don't know what side she's on. She doesn't seem to be playing for either side. And then at the end, she just, like, starts killing aliens for no reason.
Yeah, again, it's another... Yeah, that's a good point. I hadn't thought about that. It's just sort of, you're not entirely sure what side she's meant to be on in this one because she sort of loves the alien, but it's never really worked out. It's like one could argue there's a dichotomy there that wasn't in the thing, that she's like a kind of Stockholm syndrome thing. Yeah. But again, the movie's so badly done that it doesn't matter and you don't care.
And the funny thing is, the humans don't want her to remember anything. But the funny thing was, if it wasn't for her memories, if I was born yesterday and I met the crew of that ship and they were the humans and I saw the aliens killing them, I wouldn't pick the humans because they're all dicks.
But as you keep saying to people, I wasn't born yesterday. So that would have been a good line for the movie. If she just said, look, I wasn't born yesterday. And they'd have gone, well,
Wasn't far off.
actually, Winona Ryder would have stuck her oar in and said, no, she's from 200 years ago.
The Betty crew decided to head back to the Betty. When one of the crew asked, what about Varese? Jonah says, screw Varese. I'm like, why?
Yeah, their relationship is all over the place as well. He either hates him and wants to stab him or leave him on a ship full of aliens.
Yeah.
Or later he's just going, come on, man, we'll look after you and all this.
Cut to Varese rolling down in his wheelchair in the corridors. As Varese is driving along, the intercom is saying a bunch of unauthorized opening of cages is underway. The rest of the crew of the Ogre are evacuating. Some aliens are breaking through the door to Ripley's cell. Believe it or not. Haha, get it? Ripley's Believe It or Not. Had to put one in there.
Oh, you are shameless. You are...
Josh Whedon's like writing this down like, maybe I can use that in the next alien.
If they bring me back for another alien one.
After one gone, Ripley, and she said, believe it or not, I would have gone, yes.
And then all through the movie, people have to go, oh, well, I don't believe it.
Some of the escape pods exit the ship. Varese can see alien-shaped shadows above him, so he starts to assemble a weapon as quietly as he can from bits in his wheelchair. Varese assembles together a double-barreled shotgun and shoots the alien. The alien runs away.
A really fake and rubbish look. It does just look like plumbing.
They put together.
Yeah.
After he shoots the alien, some acid blood is left behind.
Yeah, and then he drips on him, and then there's that big ludicrous run in on him, again, tilting angles and whatnot as he screams, what the hell is this?
Don't worry, that's in my notes. The shot. Cut to Ripley breaking open a control panel to expose electrical wiring. She uses the blood from her hand knife wound to eat through the circuits, all the while hearing the banging of the aliens at the door. The burned circuits open an access side door. Ripley escapes the room.
Does that always work? I mean, it's a genuine question. That seems to be one thing people do. If they want a thing that's not opening to open, they either pull the wires out or destroy them in some way, and then it definitely opens.
If it doesn't, if you had a plug that way, it wouldn't work.
I wonder how many people who've got stuck in a lift shaft have done that. Or in a lift, they just go, I know what to do.
They're all in a cemetery right now. I just think of Resident Evil in elevator scenes anyway. Ooh. Cut back to Varese. Some of the acid from the alien he shot drips onto his legs, but of course he cannot feel it. He notices the smell, then touches the acid with his hands. That he can feel. And he then gets some on his ear. Cut to a random shot where it starts from the end of the room and quickly zooms back into Varese in pain. It's like, why?
Yeah, why? I mean, it's like it's some major dramatic thing for this character that you barely know.
It's a shot that's out of place because there's no need for it.
And it's another case of the director's excesses making everything that's bad about it, because that scene otherwise is really nicely shot.
Because, yeah, if you'd seen the alien come back and he was actually on that level and you saw him from far away and it zoomed over to him in pain, then it's fine. But
it's just a
shot. It's weird. Another alien, if not the same one from before, shows up. Varese starts firing at it. Cut to one of the final escape pods loading up. An alien is watching some men jump into escape pods. The alien crawls in before the pod can detach. The classic blood spray on the window occurs. One guy tries to climb out, but nah bro, you gotta stay. The alien pulls him back in.
There's no reason we can't all be part of the fun. Where are you going, man?
Yeah, pulling you back in, son. Perez asks a fellow soldier for a grenade. Perez rolls the grenade through some closing doors, along a ramp, and down into a pod just before the door closes.
A CGI grenade as well, because that was quite bad.
What a shot. That man might even make a good bowls player, if it wasn't for the fact that he's probably about to die.
I think he was in the background of The Big Lebowski the following year.
Once the pod is far enough away from the ship, Perez pushes the dental button.
The dental button.
Perez pushes the detonator button, causing the escape pod to explode.
Yeah, and that's another bit of, quite bad editing. When the ship goes, it's like, you don't sort of care enough about that scene to wait for the entire ship to get as far away as it is, but it's so choppy that it's like within about 3 seconds, it's gone from detaching from the main ship to being half a mile away.
There's no tension in the scene either.
Yeah, the scene itself is just, it's not that important of a scene.
It's supposed to be a cool kick-ass action scene. I was like, But decent explosion, though. It wasn't too bad, the explosion.
It would have been a better scene had Perez turned up with his shoulders exposed. And, and maybe the explosion would have slightly singed the hairs on his shoulders.
And he wouldn't have asked for a grenade. He would have pulled one from his shoulders.
Yeah. His shoulders would have handed him the grenade. His shoulder hair would have tapped him on the shoulder. And then the other one would have come in from the other side with the grenade dangling on.
Perez salutes his fallen men, but as he does, he can see an alien appear from behind. General Perez gets the alien inner mouth to the back of the head treatment. I like how Perez feels towards the back of his head and grabs a piece of his own brain. Like, what's that? What's that? Oh, it's my brain.
I'd better just check what's happened back there.
It's a hole there.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I got a tattoo back there and I want to know that it's...
I just want to see his shoulder hair, like, scurry off afterwards and go on to someone else.
But like an old Disney cartoon, the shoulder hair sort of jumps and then runs off, and
there's like a bald guy next to him and just like goes on his head.
Like a cutscene from Fantasia. They had the mops and then they had the bloke's shoulder hair.
Meanwhile, the Betty crew are still trying to make their way to their ship. The classic dark corridors with an alert alarm going off is occurring as they try and sneak on through. Elgin gets distracted by something, separating him from the rest of the group. Elgin, seeing a gun on the ground, decides to go another way. Dead man walking here. We have a dead man walking. Pretty much, because he's just like, he set himself up to die. You're like,
yeah, and again, another bit of quite bad pace, not so much editing as pacing, because that bit where he walks down the corridor is quite slow, just all of a sudden slows up. And again, you just don't know this character enough, or like him, to be that bothered about whether to spend a minute of him walking down a corridor.
It came predictable too that you thought he was going to die because he went off on his own. It would have been better if he was going through and that tension was building, and then he got grabbed on the shoulder and turned around as one of his crew, and just as he finds one of his crew, they have the chest burst.
And go back to the first Alien. I mean, think about it. When Tom Skerritt dies, you actually, it really, really affects you. And you say, oh no, I really, really liked him. And and it is a shock when the alien appears in the duct. And this is just, oh, I wonder what will happen here. Oh yeah, a bit of tubing fell down for no reason whatsoever. That's
always gassed air tubing that falls down on ships.
Yeah. It's just, that stayed there for, well, they said the ship was older than Ripley, so it's been there perfectly fine, but now it's been dislodged.
I love seeing a good bit of tubing strapped in. Oh, this isn't very good. What if it all just went out at once and scared the bejesus out of you?
Elgin quietly and slowly makes his way along the corridor. A pipe breaks behind Elgin, startling him. There you go. You can hear Elgin's lady lover calling for him in the background somewhere. But Elgin doesn't care. He's too busy preparing to die by investigating an obvious trap.
Gun covered in gunk.
Yeah, it's like, this can't be a trap. Elgin finds a second gun, a pistol, on the ground. When he goes to pick it up, you can see it's covered in a slobbery goo mess. There you go, sir.
The only way he's introduced you is as a kind of a cynical veteran. I mean, that's what you kind of know about him as a character. That's literally the only thing you know. And then he does the most naive, stupid thing. It's so sloppy.
It doesn't say why he's going after those things too. It's like, oh, a gun. Oh, another gun.
He would have had to have walked around the corner to see anyway.
Unless he's going after Fares and thinking maybe those are Fares' weapons. Yeah. Why would he separate from everyone else who's alive still at the moment? Maybe he had a flashback to a gun when he was a child and he's like, this is the gun I had when I was a kid, when I was a wee boy.
Yeah.
Pushing a gun on the swing when he's a kid. Rolling in the hay with him.
With a gun.
Watching movies at night underneath the sheets. Yeah. Me and my gun.
Gunbusters.
Directed by James Gunn. Distracted by the noise, Elgin doesn't see the alien hand appear from under the floor grate. The alien then puts his inner mouth through Elgin's stomach, and he starts coughing out blood. Horrible. Wow. What a shock that was.
Awful for that man. Yeah.
Like, you knew it was coming, though.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, he went off on his own. He was going to die.
Yeah.
The crew find Elgin, like, immediately after it happens.
Wouldn't that be the funniest, like, most brilliant about face if actually what had happened is he'd separated from the group and then immediately every other character was killed.
If only we had Elgin with us.
And he just stuck around, just, pining for strapped up women.
When they pull Elgin up, they realise that he is half the man he used to be. There's where I put a wah, 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 and stuff. The group hear alien sounds coming from behind them. You can see Cole's face first, then you see the alien rise and stand in front of her. The group run instead of shoot. It's a bold strategy, but it seems to work as the alien just stands there and doesn't follow. It's like I always thought they're going to run and gun, but they don't. They just run. The group gets to a sealed door. They bang on it to open up. Seems like a few others are in the group now, including Creepy Doc. The alien thinks about going after the group, but then gets distracted.
The alien also sees a gun from his childhood, goes and has a bit of a cry, and then there's a flashback to an alien pushing a gun on a swing, frolicking in the fields with a gun.
I may not have you anymore, but I do have the memories. It begins to investigate around Elgin's body. The alien snarls just as a pistol end comes through the hole in Elgin's chest and shoots the alien. I actually really like that shot. It's not a pistol, but it's a shotgun because the way it sounds goes.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
The body starts to get moved. The group come back to see what it is. It's Ripley, and she's ready to go. She's back. She's ready to go. From the rooftop, shout it out.
If only they did a tie-in, that would have been...
Just have a montage of them running through the corridors. Baby, I'm ready to go.
I know what you did last summer has na 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 na. This should have had baby, I'm ready to go.
And you could have had a Scooby-Doo moment where they're running through hallways and opening up doors, and then aliens open up doors and they're going through different doors.
I think what would have been more appropriate for from that era would have been I'm a Barbie Girl by Aqua.
You can brush my hair or chest burst me anywhere.
If you tolerate this, then your clone will be next. That would have...
The group start to fight amongst themselves as they struggle to figure out what to do next. The classic, can't trust anyone line comes up here.
Yes! Yeah! I don't trust anybody. All right, okay.
And then the guy goes, we go this way. All right, I'm trusting you. I agree with Joanna, though. They should kill Creepy Doc. Why do they keep him alive?
Yeah, good question.
Access codes, but then it's that important that they have to keep the guy they don't trust alive. Creepy Doc informs the group that there are 12 more aliens running around the ship. Maybe because I don't think he knows about the alien that was killed by the two aliens in that room. So maybe only 11?
Yeah. When you think about it, actually just diminishes the stakes. You just go, makes life a little bit easier.
That's why the intercom's like, actually, it's only 11 guys? The group say that Ripley can come with them. Cole doesn't want Ripley with them as she had one of the aliens inside her. She's not human. She's a clone. Cole thinks Ripley will turn on them. Christy knows they need Ripley if they want to survive, which is pretty much true. The group move on. Ripley rips out the alien inner mouth.
That's what she's good at, stick with what works.
And hands it to Cole. Make a nice souvenir. I like that line.
Yeah, what was that all about? Why did she do that? Why the tongue?
I don't know why, because she hates aliens, maybe? I don't know. Cole can't believe that Ripley killed one of the aliens. Ripley explained that it was in her way, but was it? She kind of went in her way to kill it. As the group was walking, there was a loud beeping noise coming from behind the door. As the group prepares for battle, the door opens. It's Varese. Who do you think it was going to be, Santa Claus?
What do you think it was gonna be, a Santa Claus?
Yeah, that's such a terrible, terrible line.
I don't trust anybody. Not even Santa Claus.
A generic expendable soldier in the group explains the quickest way out. Here is his speech here. After the cooling tower, there's a freight elevator. It runs from the top of the ship down to the engineering level 1 deck. Takes us straight to the docks. Ripley informs the group that the ship is moving. Creepy Doc says how the ship has a stealth run. There is no way she can tell. Cole says that Ripley is right, because we all know, because later on we'll find out. Ripley says that the ship's been going since the attack. Apparently, it's a standard emergency procedure. Any serious problem with the ship, it autopilots back to home base. What's home base? Well, Earth, of course. Dun dun dun! Next time on Alien Resurrection, they've got 3 hours before the ship reaches Earth. Cole says how they got to blow the ship up, but nobody's blown up the ship until they get off it first, says Christy. I ain't gonna die. Jonah's like, Earth, man? What a crap hole. He says something else, but I said crap hole. Jonah talks to Ripley about how she ran into these things before. So, what did you do? I died. I'm like, ha ha, she did. Not before she got impregoed.
She got what, sorry?
She got impregoed.
Never have children. I got her so impregoed.
The group carry on through the corridor when suddenly Ripley feels something. She approaches a door that has I-7 on it. Ripley then looks at her 8 tattoo. Ripley enters the room and finds a laboratory with different mutation clones in them. The one with the teeth going through the cheek, nasty. So it's all
I'm
Ripley
sure it
clones.
says 1 to 7.
It's the 1 to 7. Is it? I thought it was I7.
No, because if she's number 8, it must be 1 to 7.
So she got her own room?
Yeah, she got her own. No, she was in the next one. She was what would that be? 8 to 14, presumably. I don't know. I wasn't there.
You weren't there?
I wasn't the paper boy for that one.
I missed that day. I was sick, but it's pretty nasty looking stuff in there.
Yeah. Well, I say it's an experimental laboratory where they're trying to blend humans with aliens. I mean, what do you expect? Yeah, that threw you, didn't you? You wanted some snarky affirmation of your small-minded views. No, I'm sticking up for Alien Resurrection on this one.
I don't know why, but this scene reminded me of Jurassic Park 3, when the group is going through one of InGen's labs, and they come across a raptor.
I only ever watched half of Jurassic Park 3. I switched it off. I can't confirm or deny on that one. I'll go with you on that one, but all I remember from Jurassic Park 3 was at one point they were trying to fly a plane and they caught a dinosaur in the propellers and some blood went on the screen, but I may have misremembered that.
Well, Jurassic Park 3 is coming up in the worst of the worst, actually. The alien with human skin and an eyeball in the shoulder isn't winning any beauty contests either. Might get second, though, if it plays Monopoly.
There's an eyeball in the shot. Oh, yeah.
The old eyeball in the shoulder, not here, not...
Well, I mean, hey, given the shoulder action we've seen so far in this movie, it doesn't seem that out there, does it?
Ripley comes across an awake clone on a surgical operating table. The clone is mutated beyond measure. Seems to only be alive through some tubes that are connected to its stomach.
Had an extraordinarily hairy armpit.
Yeah, that's what you noticed, yeah.
Of all the things you could notice, but I couldn't not...
Do you think you could shave your armpit when you're, like, looking like that?
It looked like she was actually growing the lead singer of Dexy's Midnight Runners out of her own armpit.
You're like, oh, this thing's grotesque. Look at that armpit here.
That's why she was saying, kill me. My other arm won't reach round, so...
The clone wants Ripley to kill it. Kill me. That's what it sounds like. It's pretty creepy.
I know, I was there.
I was there. I observed it. I saw the hairy armpit. Cole hands Ripley a weapon. Ripley barbecues her clone with a flamethrower gun.
That's a good point. It did do that and actually didn't see what it would taste like afterwards.
No, it shouldn't.
I would have.
Yeah. This version of the flamethrower gun, way less chunky than the one from Aliens. Because the one in Aliens is like a two-handed, like almost like a rocket
It's
launcher.
been a couple of years since I've seen Alien, so I can't really remember. But yeah, I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, take my word for
Yeah,
it.
right.
Ripley then burns up the rest of the lab. Like multiple angles of the same action scene happening again and again.
Yeah, that's very sort of like, hey, look, we've paid a lot of money to make this movie, so you better well like these explosions.
To borrow Simpsons line from the Radioactive Man movie, but we did that this morning. But yes, we're going to do it again for different angles. Again and again and again and again and again.
Don't forget to use your nails, boys.
Then Ripley turns her sights on Creepy Doc. The group tells her not to do it. Well, actually, it's just more cool, but yeah, whatever. Ripley then throws the gun at Creepy Doc's feet and walks away. It's like, don't do it. She's like, do what?
Yeah, that was a weird line. What the hell was that all about? Don't do it. Do what? What?
It's like it's trying to be clever.
Yeah, exactly. Do what? That's why she walks away before, in the 5 seconds before anyone goes, what on earth are you talking about?
Any resurrection. We're not going to walk into any cliches in this movie.
She turns and walks away so you can't see her face thinking, oh, I'm such an idiot. Why did I say that?
Doing this for the money. Doing this for the money. Cole then punches Creepy Doc. I wonder if that punch felt harder than normal. Jonna calls Ripley's destruction of the lab as a waste of a movie. That's what it says here.
Yes, that's the most accurate line in this movie. It was a waste of a movie.
He calls it a waste of ammo. Okay, we get it. Jonna's a real douchebag. Cut to the group entering a room. It's the chamber where the people we used as alien hosts. They're still strapped in with big holes in their chests. Great big bushy beards.
One of them looked like actually he had like someone else's hands poking through. It was just sort of like as if someone was going to peep out and like one of the Teletubbies was going to pop their head out. Uh-oh.
That would be a true horrifying origin story.
Yeah, that'd be one for the kids, wouldn't it?
The Betty crew realised that the people, the cargo that they actually had on board their ship. I do like the flickering light in the scene. Might be something that could cause seizures, though. There was one person still alive in the chamber. When Ripley inspects him, he jumps up screaming and tells everyone to get away from him. The lights come on and they talk to the man. Apparently, the group who were the cargo were in cryo on their way to Exerium, work crew for the nickel refinery. So they're just people just doing their job, and they got pirated.
That's again one of those things because so that actor when we were watching it, Leland Orser, is the guy who has the meltdown in the questioning room in Seven, who's the one who's made to wear the intricate leather outfit. See, that scene again approaches something interesting where he keeps saying, "What's inside me?" And that was like, you were like, "Oh, okay, that's quite good." But then it just kept going on, and you were like, "All right, this is stupid again now."
No one would answer him. He's like, "What's inside me? What's inside me? What's inside me? What's inside me?" And I was going to say, "What's inside me?" People were like, "Oh, it's an alien." Why did you ask? Speak up next time, dude. Ripley looks at the man closely and sniffs him. This isn't creepy at all. Ripley tells him to leave him as he has an alien inside.
Yeah, which is a bit rich.
Yeah, because she's had an alien inside her.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit prejudice of her, isn't it?
I'm not like those ones.
The group argue what they should do. Cole says how they can't just leave him. Christy rightfully corrects her, saying, "Weren't you the one wanting to stop all these things from actually getting off the ship?" He's true. Yeah. The group start talking about how they should kill the man. Ripley explains to the scared man what is inside him. Ripley says, "There's a monster in your chest. These guys hijacked your ship, and they sold your cryo tube to this human. And he put an alien inside of you. It's a really nasty one." She kind of smiles as she says that. "And in a few hours, it's going to burst its way through your rib cage, and you're going to die." Any questions?
How are you feeling now? Could you please, on a scale of 1 to 10?
Well, the man says, "Who are you?" "I'm Batman." "I'm the monster's mother."
I'm bat moist.
I'm Ripley. I can rip through anything.
Cut to the group finding a spaceship hatch. They have to go down a ladder, so Varese needs to lose the chair. Why don't they have hover chairs in 200 years in the future? Nah.
Oh, because that would be too convenient.
Too easy. They haven't fixed the problem in 200 years of how to get someone who's can't walk down a ladder without putting them on someone's back.
1997, that was all pipe dreams back then. But the idea of having a motorised... they were around back then, weren't they? Yeah. Although he's got more of a tank than a wheelchair, isn't he?
As they get down the ladder, they head through a flooding corridor. Not a bloody corridor, but a flooding corridor. That flooding corridor. Varese says how it must be the cooling tanks. Somebody must have opened the valves. Probably the aliens.
By that point, the audience doesn't care. Don't care. Yeah, there's water on air. Of all the things I needed explained, that wasn't one of them.
I like a good water scene. They're at the bottom of the ship, though. They need to go through the kitchen to the freight elevator on the other side. Ripley doesn't like it.
You really made that sound. Ripley doesn't like it. Ripley doesn't like it.
"We should go another way," says the woman who kind of likes the aliens and probably wants to kill you all. The group decide to go anyway. To get to the freight elevator, they need to swim underwater. I don't like it either, Ripley. I hate going underwater. Oh, it terrifies me.
Where are they swimming through again? Because it looks like a kitchen. It is a kitchen. Okay, right.
As they're swimming, they notice two aliens.
No dead chef in there. That would have been so funny. Just a dead chef floating past. That's the bloated corpse of Gordon Ramsay went past. Actually, it's funny because one of them, the French guy in the wheelchair, looks like Marco Pierre White. And if I want to see a dead chef, it would be him.
As they're swimming, they notice two aliens swimming in behind them. They're actually really good swimmers, the aliens.
Yeah, which actually, given that they probably haven't been near a lot of water, because their original planet didn't look like it had a lot of water on it. No. But they are xenomorph. They are supposed to be like the ultimate killing machine, so I guess they probably would adapt quite quickly. I don't know. Maybe they had a dip.
First Assassin's Creed, you couldn't swim. They were meant to be apex predators too.
Yeah, but we're not in the world of Assassin's Creed, Greg, so stop bringing it up all the time. Honestly, when this podcast isn't on, that's all he does is complain about why assassins can't swim.
This is terrible. Jonah fires a missile.
That's why I believe that Lee Harvey Oswald did it, because he didn't have to swim to get out of the 6th floor of the book depository.
There was a pool. There used to be a pool there, but they got rid of it. Jonah fires a missile from his gun that takes out one of them.
That is well done, actually. Hats off. That bit is pretty awesome, where the alien explodes underwater. It's just this something. But then that doesn't seem to create any more jeopardy, because you'd have thought their acidic blood is that acidic that the water's not going to...
That's what I thought. Maybe the water become poisonous.
Yeah, it's not going to neutralise it that quickly. So, I mean, they do speed away. But it's
I thought the cloud might come over towards them and they have to swim away from it.
but they swim away from it and then it doesn't follow them. So yeah, I don't know.
Hillard is dragged away in the water by an alien as Ripley watches. It's weird because there's no violence or anything to it. She just kind of gets dragged away.
Yeah. So she might have survived in the end.
The ship blew up.
She
so-
might have married the alien.
She might have been getting a sensual foot massage
Yeah.
from the alien.
Yeah, that's it. Because he did grab her by the feet, and she went, hang about. I'll get me bum out, and you can massage my feet.
And she knows she has plenty of KY. As the group make it up the other side, they find that the exit is covered up by some sort of slime coating, kind of like an alien pool cover.
That should have had a sort of a zip or a pullback or somewhere along the line.
Had someone trying to kayak on top. Oh! Above the coating is a bunch of alien eggs with face huggers in them, just itching to get out. The group eventually break through. One of the face huggers latches onto Ripley. More face huggers prepare to jump into the pool of the awaiting victims. They sent a goddamn trap. It's a goddamn ambush.
Which again, I don't think it is it? I mean, it's just that these are the ultimate hunting machines, so they could be anywhere.
He's want to say something
and they
kind
are
of cool, but it's not really cool.
Yeah, it's just pointless.
It's a goddamn ambush. The group heads back underwater. Christie from underwater shoots up some grenade shells from his gun, which blows up the egg room. Kind of ricochets off the roof, I think, and then hits the eggs. I don't know.
Yeah, that's another one. So that presumably would be the quote-unquote payoff from the earlier bit where he shot his gun and got the... But that's not really, is it? And it's sort of less... Look, if you're going to do something as rubbish as that, you switch it. You'd reverse it so that he'd do that fairly basic move first and then the really complex one
Later on.
And it doesn't even make... It's like, how did he know that glass was going to withhold the bullets? Yeah. And I bet it wouldn't if he'd have really wanted it to, and the writers had wanted it to, and it's, yeah.
It's one of those 80s, 90s explosions where multiple angles show explosions again each time.
I mean, I kind of miss that, though, because it's all CGI explosions, and it's just not as good as the real thing.
No, it's not. Ripley eventually gets the face...
When actors were really under threat. I mean, I loved those days.
I like it when he saw fire and you saw the fear in their eyes.
Yeah.
Ripley eventually gets the facehugger off. The group get up and out of the water because the underwater alien manages to get them. He's been hanging around there for a while and doesn't actually follow them.
Yeah, doing nothing. Just sort of like...
Swimming?
Yeah. Maybe he's... I don't know. Maybe... I mean, they were in the kitchen. Maybe he found like...
Maybe him and Gordon Ramsay were baking together, making some good... Now, you really want to make this perfect time temperature underwater.
Gordon Ramsay was shouting at him the whole time. Alien's just crying into the soup. Oh, sorry, Chef Ramsay. Ramsay's kitchen nightmares.
Resurrection. The creepy doc gets to the elevator. He says that the control panel won't break. He needs a weapon. Cole gives him a pistol. Creepy doc tells her that she really is way too trusting. Creepy doc shoots Cole in the gut. Cole falls back in the water. And then Varese waits 5 seconds after she's gone in the pool to go, no!
Yeah! With his big, stupid mouth.
Wow. Varese starts shooting at Creepy Doc, but Creepy Doc gets through the door and tells the computer to lock it behind. Father, close the door.
This sequence stands out for me as the most annoying sequence of the whole thing. Not only because it's just super cliche, but it's so much... It's so ugly and annoying. Like, the sound is up. It's constantly... No! And all this sort of stuff. And there's flickering lights and smoke all over the place. Just... Oh, God. And the camera's constantly, angled and moving around and in people's faces. And it's just sit the damn thing down and let's watch a movie. Just stop. Just, put all your toys away. I know you've got 75mm. Put your toys away and make a movie and tell a story.
So the alien starts climbing up the ladder after them. And you can see the CGI.
Again, yeah, that's not great. That's pretty bad CGI. That's, yeah.
Varese can't shoot his gun as it's jammed.
What a surprise. I mean, again.
His crappy old gun's jammed. Christie tries to shoot while also hanging onto the ladder and while carrying Varese up the ladder, but Christie can't get a clear shot. Hello, won't you ricochet like you did before?
Yeah. Hasn't bothered you up till now.
Now he just can't do it. The alien spits acid into Christie's face. How does he do that? He's not wounded.
Yeah, exactly. So that's not just blood, it's snot as well. And then, of course, he gets a big full payload of spit in his face, but it doesn't do the same as the blood. Because it doesn't go right through his head and dissolve it. It sort of gives him some nasty burns.
It's just half his face so he can become an arch enemy for Batman.
Yeah, it's just...
Christie desperately tries to fight off the alien that's on the ladder. Jonna, then locks his legs onto the ladder and does an upside-down backflip and starts shooting double pistols at the alien because it's an action film.
Yeah, and we've got it. It's back in those days. I mean, there was something seriously rubbish about the late 90s, early 2000s, what they thought was cool back then. And we thought it was cool. Like, we all thought it was cool. And you just look back at it, you go, this is so embarrassing. This is just pathetic. Even the first Matrix movie looks a little bit like, oh, I don't know, I'm not sure.
But at least it had more meaning behind why they did what they did.
I suppose it's like the Underworld movies. What's that, 2003? First one comes out. It looks so dated now. And it's looked dated for quite a while. I mean, it just...
When I watched it on DVD and Blu-ray, I was like, oh yeah, and I watched it, came out in 4K, like, yeah, I'll watch those again, and I watched it, I was like, all right, never mind.
But again, we just thought, oh my God, wraparound shades. Oh my God, brilliant.
Black leather coats.
Yeah, black leather that's just, taking your attention away from the acting.
Yeah, that's distracting. The alien gets part of its head blown off as Jonah flips back up. He sees a spider in a web, so of course he shoots it.
Shoots that.
Why? I don't know.
He's that angry.
The dead alien still has a hold of Vares's foot, so as Vares struggles to hang on, Christie unbuckles the harness straps, except the bottom one won't unclip. Why doesn't he just hang on to the ladder that's right next to him? I said maybe his brain's getting eaten by the acid.
Maybe the screenwriter's brains have been eaten by the amount of money they had.
So he cuts the strap with his knife and falls into the water. And that's the end of him. You don't see him again.
Oh, what a shame. It's a big emotional moment, isn't it? Because the beloved member that we've come to love so much in this movie is now gone.
Yep, another one bites the dust. The elevator door starts to beep, so the crew ready themselves. The door opens, and it's cool. Oh my God. Bomb, bomb, bomb. She's not dead.
Oh my God.
Cool, without any explanation, tells him
So,
to go with her.
Winona, you're acting so bad, no one believed you were dead.
Cool, without any explanation, tells him to go with her. Ripley and the group are highly suspicious. Ripley pulls back Cool's jacket to find not blood, but android fluid. That's right, Cool is an android. Ripley's like, I should have known. No human being is that humane. I was like, oh, that's pretty. I actually don't mind that line.
I do. Yeah. Thanks, rubbish.
I mind it.
No human being is that humane. Oh,
It's true, though.
good on
Most
you.
humans are dicks, especially in this world.
Yeah, well, well, if you'll stop being that way, Greg,
Kill them all.
you monster.
Cool was an Aton. An Aton? An Aton. Like it's A-U-T-O-N. Cool was an atom. A robot designed by robots, apparently. They were apparently to change the way people looked at synthetics, but autos don't like taking orders. So they were recalled, destroyed. There was a rumor that just a few managed to get out intact. They just have under 2 hours before the ship lands on Earth.
And also, that's the point at which we find out that Cole is a God-fearing android.
Yeah.
Praised in front of the... It's just,
It reminds me of Joan of Arc in the Bill and Ted Excellent Adventure when she's like, the booth's about to come down, she prays and does the same thing. She has the very similar haircut to Winona Ryder.
It reminded me of a really rubbish thing I saw once.
Alien Resurrection.
It's called Alien Resurrection, so it's got some religious themes in there, which it doesn't explore. And yeah.
All they need to get through is jammed. There is no way through as no one knows the access codes. Oh, how convenient that they know that Cool's a robot just as they need access codes. Ripley talks to Cool, asking her to get the access codes. Cool says how she can't as she burned her modem. All the add-ons had to. It was the only way to escape. Vares says that she knows that she can plug in manually. Ripley says that Cool can use the computer to blow up the ship and kill all the aliens on board. Cool removes a mole on her arm and plugs in the cable to the computer. It's not the sound it made, but sure. As Cool is searching the computer, she says how the ship has burned too much energy and she can't blow it up. Ripley says to crash it instead then. While Ripley and Cool are away accessing the computer, Jonah, Generic Soldier, and the man from the chamber room are trying to get the door open. Chamber room guy starts to have chest pains. His alien's about to burst. The other two are about to shoot him when he calms down and tells them, "It's okay, guys," and pushes the guns away. I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'll just shoot him right there.
Fine.
I'm not taking risks. Cool has redirected the ship. Good news, the ship will no longer land on Earth. Bad news, the ship will crash now in 43 minutes and 8 seconds. Ripley tells Cool to try and clear a path to Betty and start her up. Cool starts opening up doors. Creepy Doc, though, is almost at the Betty. He is trying to go through a door when the power goes down in the sector he's in. Cool takes over the intercom, letting Creepy Doc know that she is now in charge. Intruder on level 1. All aliens, please proceed to level 1. That's terrible. I had that.
Isn't it just Daddy's not in charge anymore or something?
I'm in charge now, and then she's like, intruder on level 1. All aliens, please proceed. It's like, they won't listen to you. They won't know. Oh, the intercom. Oh, I better proceed to level 1.
Exactly. One of them's still giving a foot massage to what's her face, isn't
That lady. Cole talks to Ripley, saying how at least a part of the Ripley is still human. Cole considers what she is disgusting. The reason Cole came was to kill Ripley, as before she came, she had accessed the mainframe. Every little covert op the government ever dreamed of is in there, and the aliens, even the crew from the Betty, were in there. Cole knew that if they succeeded, it would be the end of humanity. Ripley asks Cole why she cares what happens to humanity, and Cole says, because she's programmed to.
Oh, Jesus. I mean, it's just utter tedium followed by corn.
Cut to the group moving on through the corridors. They are not too far away now. The group sees some sticky slime-looking gunk. Ripley investigates with her hands. Gross. It's like she's going to lick it or something.
Someone in the background, like the Jonna, had just gone, oh, you're touching it. Oh.
Put your hands on it and taste it. Yeah, it's definitely goo. It's definitely goo.
Is it goo or is it poo?
It's goo. Ripley thinks, oops, get out of here. Stupid arm thing.
That's not what she says. I mean, I know the dialogue's bad. It's not that bad.
Oh my god, my notes are so
Ripley thinks that's in the first, and then the voiceover comes back. Whoops! What? Get out of here, stupid thing!
My notes are so desperate to get away, they went back to the beginning.
Oh dear.
Ripley thinks that they are near the alien nest. They think about going back, but Cole says they can't, as they used to have 90 minutes, but not anymore since Cole sent the ship to crash. Jonna doesn't like that Cole did what they were all asking her to do, as now they have less time. As Jonna is getting lippy with Cole, Ripley grabs Jonna by the throat and reaches into his mouth and grabs his tongue. Ripley asks Cole if she wants another souvenir. Oh, point back there. Nice, call back. Ripley asks how far it is to the docks. Generic soldier says 100 yards. Good old generic soldier.
100 yards. I'm a generic soldier.
Cut to the group running as fast as they can to the docks. Of course, generic soldier and the man from the chamber room are having to carry Varese with them. Ripley then stops running and gets to the ground, listening under the floor grate. Ripley can hear them. They are so close. The Queen is apparently in pain.
Yeah, at that point she starts doing sort of cat movements for some reason. Yeah.
Ripley then falls through the grate, and as it looks like an alien hand pulled it down. Cole was left yelling below for Ripley. Chamberman walks back to see what Cole is staring at. Below Ripley is lying on a big alien egg sac or something. Ripley ends up going down through it. And so,
yeah, that's like some weird kind of interspecial orgy scene. Which
Kind of
is,
was.
yeah.
Kind of reminded me of a Toffee Pops commercial from the early 90s in New Zealand. A person is sitting on a couch that looks like a pair of giant human lips and is eating a chocolate biscuit known as a Toffee Pop. In this commercial, the man is devoured by his couch in a similar way. Sometimes, Simon, I wake up at night in a cold sweat thinking that couch might come for me.
Who would have thought it was a extended Toffee Pops commercial?
Chamberman tells Cole that they have to keep moving. All they can hope for is a quick death for Ripley, says the guy who's horribly got a chest burster in him.
These people are hypocrites, and that's what I hate most about Alien Resurrection, the hypocrisy.
Cut to Ripley wrapped in an alien's embrace. It seems weirdly erotic.
It does, yes. It rates up there for me with the most erotic scenes in cinema. It's
That's up there, top 10.
Basic Instinct and Alien Resurrection.
Remaining Betty crew make it back to the Betty. Varese orders some of the crew to
Did
help.
you say remaining crew or Romanian crew?
The remaining Betty crew make
We
it back to
employ
the
them
Betty.
in cheap labour.
Varese orders some of the crew to help prepare for takeoff. Jonna is about to put the Chamberman back into cryo to prevent his chest from being bursted, when suddenly, Chamberman is shot. It's Creepy Doc, and he's taken Cole hostage at gunpoint. Creepy Doc orders the crew to drop their weapons or else everybody dies and no one goes home. Generic Soldier and Jonna drop their weapons. Chamberman starts to convulse, while Creepy Doc monologues about having the ship head back to Earth, per emergency procedures. Chamberman, having his chest bleeding and starting to bleed from the mouth, charges Creepy Doc. The Creepy Doc shoots at Chamberman. Chamberman beats up Creepy Doc for a little while before grabbing him and holding him up to his chest. When the alien bursts out of the Chamberman's chest, the alien also bursts through Creepy Doc's head. Brutal. Jonna, Generic Soldier, and Cole all start shooting at the newborn alien.
That whole bit is just the worst sequence. The whole way, it's so loud and annoying and ugly and just, but not in a good way. Like that can be done well. Like for example, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That's loud and annoying and ugly. But that's what's brilliant about it. Alien Resurrection, you just go, this is really getting up my nose right now. Yeah, because the camera shoots down his throat and you see the thing, it's...
What's up?
Yeah, and it's just bang, 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 and big, and just move. Oh, and it's hideous. It's absolutely hideous.
Hideous. That's the word of the day. Cut to the alien nest where we find that Gitterman is still alive. Apparently, after the queen laid her eggs, she began to change.
Oh yeah, and he's covered in. You know when you get those seaweed rice crackers? He looks like that. Yeah. Looks like tinfoil wrapped seaweed rice crackers.
Well, I say it almost looks like Grimmer Wormtongue from Lord of the Rings, which is obviously if they make the Brandy door off. It's kind of weird. It almost looks like that. Peter Jackson saw Alien Resurrection and was like, hire that man.
Yeah, hey, we could do an adaptation of Lord of the Rings.
Because look at Alien Resurrection, it's pure genius. The Queen added a second cycle cell, so this time there are no hosts. There were no eggs. There was only her womb and the creature inside. That is Ripley's gift to her, a human reproductive system. The Queen is giving birth. The Queen with a giant womb sac looks incredibly disgusting. After a few moments of alien birth screaming, a human skin-coloured alien is born. Looks like a cross between a Urukai warrior from Lord of the Rings.
A Uruguayan warrior from Lord of the Rings.
Urukai, sorry. An Urukai warrior from Lord of the Rings. A predator and Stripe at the end of Gremlins when he's melting in the sunlight.
It looks like a sack of what, I don't know. It looks like with a constantly moving sort of like because it's got the skull like nose or sort of non-nose, the hole in the skull where it should be, but the bit that moves up a little bit on the just above the philtrum just keeps moving back and forth like a little sort of finger.
Yeah, little nose. Yeah, ugh. The little cute little nose. Gitterman calls the birth a beautiful butterfly. Beautiful butterfly then knocks the face off the alien queen.
Beautiful butterfly looks like the bag of fat that gets chucked out of the liposuction clinic.
Well, that happens later on when it gets sucked out of the hole. Well, beautiful butterfly then goes over to Ripley and gives her some loving eye towards her.
He does, doesn't he?
Loving eyes. Yeah. Beautiful butterfly recognizes Ripley as its mother. Gitterman then encourages Beautiful Butterfly to go towards him. Beautiful Butterfly bites into the top of Gitterman's head.
That's badly done. Yeah.
You don't see much, you see it cut and it cuts away.
Yeah, it just cuts to his head. You don't see any jaws around it, and then just some blood like being sprayed on him.
Yeah, it's not great. Reminds me though of how Nedry dies in the book version of Jurassic Park, because he gets his head bitten on the top like that. Gitterman lost his brains for his truly brainless actions there.
Oh, see, there's more layers to this than I'd thought.
Ripley escapes and runs towards the Betty, which is currently departing. Cole sees Ripley on the monitor and opens the loading bay door to the Betty for her. Ripley does about a 10 to 15 metre jump to the bridge to the Betty.
What do you know? She makes it.
It's almost Matrix style from the above shot.
It's almost, yeah.
Ripley takes over flying the Betty as Varese is ill-equipped. Ripley was, of course, a pilot in the first Alien film, after all. There is an alert as the hatch is not closing. Ripley knows she pressed the button to close it, though, so Cole goes back to close the hatch. Cole presses the button to close the hatch, but nothing happens. As Cole is trying to close the hatch with the crowbar, she is interrupted by Beautiful Butterfly.
Which I've just remembered, Beautiful Butterfly with the saggy breasts a la your 50-year-old uncle in a string vest shirt.
It's like the old lady in The Shining who's in the bathtub. Beautiful Butterfly closes the hatch door. Oh, it actually helped out. Thank you. Cole runs away and rolls into a tight enclosed space while the Betty flies out of the Aruga into space. The pressure in the Betty starts to get unstable. Joanna tells Generic Soldier to go help Cole turn on the pump. Meanwhile, Beautiful Butterfly is trying to grab Cole in that tight enclosed space, you know.
You're getting too hot and bothered. Tight enclosed space.
You gotta go and help her out in that tight enclosed space.
Generic Soldier...
I love a woman strapped up in a...
Generic Soldier enters with his gun at the ready. He then gets his head crushed in by Beautiful Butterfly's giant claw hands. It's like, oh, it's just mushing its hands.
Yeah, that was all right.
It's a way to go, I tell you. Varese calls Cole on the radio, telling her to get back to the front of the ship. Ripley senses something is wrong and goes to investigate. Cole's about to get ripped apart by Beautiful Butterfly when Ripley says, "Put her down." Beautiful Butterfly looks at Ripley with these sad, sweet eyes, then drops Cole to the ground. Ripley embraces Beautiful Butterfly, touching its face. As Ripley is face nuzzling Beautiful Butterfly, she notices the glass window on the airlock door. Ripley reaches into Beautiful Butterfly's mouth and cuts the palm of her hand on Beautiful Butterfly's teeth. Ripley then throws some of the blood on the airlock glass. Now this shot of blood going on the glass and burning is not great looking. Very CGI.
Yeah.
But all in all, the practical effects are pretty solid.
Elsewhere, you can see some matte paintings, which are quite well done. I mean, I like that sort of old matte painting thing. Yeah. Don't mind that.
The blood eats through the glass, creating a small hole. The hole starts to suck a beautiful butterfly towards it until it's right up against the glass. Beautiful butterfly's blood and guts start to get sucked out of the hole. Again, the digital effects of the blood, not great, but the practical effects, though, the practical effects are really effective.
Yeah, but again, it's the style of what they're doing. It's just so screechy, and I mean, obviously, in fairness to the creature, it is having its guts sucked out through its back into space. So it gets a bit, you can't be sort of subtle, and you can't be louche and understated about that.
It is horrifying, those screams.
No, it's not. It's annoying. It's so annoying.
Beautiful butterfly is no more. The Aruga is now on a diverted course. It crashed into Earth's atmosphere on the wrong angle, causing it to explode. Varese and John had struggled to get the Betty
But
through.
what explodes, though?
The Aruga.
Oh, right. Okay, that's what happened. Right, okay.
Because, it counts down and, have a good day, and the alien's like, what's up?
I wasn't paying attention to the intricacies of the plot by that point.
Varese and John had struggled to eat the Betty. Struggled to get.
Struggled to eat the Betty. Sorry, we forgot to mention that. A bet on the Betty. Eat the Betty. The aliens are coming. How are we going to hide? Eat the Betty.
Varese and John had struggled to get the Betty through Earth's atmosphere, but they make it. You see nothing but clouds, and they're happy and kiss one another for some reason.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. Actually, I thought you were being slightly. Of course, they do. Yeah, that's another thing is that Jono doesn't die. He's actually like one of the happy ones who dies at the end, and they all become friends. And you think I couldn't have given two toss whether he gets to.
I was kind of hoping they all died.
Yeah.
Yeah, no one deserved to live. Maybe Cole was anyone who deserved to live.
It's not really living anyway, so.
Ripley congratulates Cole for saving the Earth. Cole says how Ripley almost sounds disappointed. Cole says that she didn't expect Earth to be so beautiful. What happens now?
They don't expect it to be so beautiful. They don't see most of it. It's covered in clouds.
It's cloud study. It's beautiful.
Does she think like the whole thing is just a big ball of candy floss?
Well, it must be, because he hasn't seen anything else yet.
So beautiful. It's quite wet, and I don't know where I'm meant to step.
Very cloudy.
Yeah. Very cloudy. It must be South Wales.
Ripley's Cole's like, what happens now? And Ripley says, I don't know. I'm a stranger here myself. At the end of the credits, it says, play the Alien Resurrection video game from Fox Interactive. Almost sounds desperate.
Yeah. If you're going to be that, whorish, at least put it at the beginning, Because by that stage, no one's going to be disappointed by that once they've seen the movie. They're only going to be,
You might as well play the game.
Oh, that seemed like a terrible thing to do at the time, but now, 104 minutes later, I don't feel that bad. It doesn't seem that bad.
I want to shoot this game, game.
I just want to shoot everything. I think that may have contributed to America's gun problems, is the existence of Alien Resurrection.
Right, so that's end of movie.
Right, hooray!
Now that we've covered the movie Alien Resurrection, let's go to our ratings.
Nobody does it, Bennett. Worst of the worst.
So we've got our ratings now for Alien Resurrection here, Simon. So let's start off with how entertaining is the film? What have you given it?
1. It's not entertaining at all.
Okay.
At no point is it entertaining.
Fair enough. I've given it a 3. I think it's fairly entertaining just for how much you can laugh at it.
Nope. Can't laugh at it. It's annoying.
The practical effects are pretty good.
That's not enough. I'm sorry. I with all due respect to practical effects people, and I think they did a really good job, that's not entertaining in and of itself.
And I've watched it twice in the last couple of days. Before I did this one, I would have said that I thought it was probably a 1 or a 2. But after watching it again, I was like, I just didn't mind it as much as I thought it would.
You are a masochist.
How intentional is the quality?
So that was how is it meant to be taken? Is it taking itself seriously?
Yeah, one is it was deliberately
Well, as I said at the beginning of the podcast, I mean, I think it thinks that by default of being an alien movie, it walks the walk, but it doesn't. It's abysmal, and it's got all the pitfalls of its director's style. In fairness, there are a couple of moments where it's meant to be more light-hearted, but even that's rubbish. Yeah. So I've given it 4.
So yeah, for this one, the lower the score is, the more intentional it would be.
Yeah, so 4.
Because I've given it 2, because 2 is... I think 1 is not quite as... You said, there's some moments of lightheartedness. It doesn't want to take itself as seriously, but I gave it 2 because I think it's quite low. How much does it affect the franchise? I've given it a 3 because I don't think it actually horribly stopped the franchise. It did stop after this, but I don't think it's the reason completely it stopped, because I know I can see the trajectory of Alien 3 and this going down. So I think they decided to stop it because they realized that it was getting less and less money. I don't think this is the sole reason, though, it got canned.
Well, assuming that I've still got the numbering right, I've put a 1 because I think it affects the franchise quite badly, because it's just so completely off the beaten track in terms of its tone. It's screwed with the character of Ripley, who's the centre of that whole series, completely. The characters are rubbish, which they weren't in the previous films. It's ugly, mostly. I mean, again, I'm a bit conflicted about the cinematography because I think Darius Khondji is a good director of photography, but Jean-Pierre Jeunet's style, renders it very ugly. Yeah, no.
And quality of casting, what have you given it?
I give it 3 because I think a lot of the actors they've cast, like Brad Dourif, Michael Wincott, Dan Hedaya, J.E. Freeman, they're very good, but they're just in a rubbish movie, which so often happens. But
No, I've given it a 3 as well. Like I said, it's good actors, just bad material. You've got like Ron Perlman, you've got obviously Sigourney Weaver, Bradley Dourif.
Brody Dourif?
Bradley. I said Bradley.
You said Brody
I
Dourif.
said Bradley.
Write in if you heard him say Brody Dourif.
How about Brad Dourif then? How's that?
Yeah, that would do.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Because you mentioned the other ones that have been in previously good films as well. So I don't think the cast is a problem. I think it's what they've been given, the material. And would you watch it again?
No. Absolutely not. No, I've seen it. That's the second time I've watched it now, and I'm never, ever watching it again.
So you give it a 1?
1.
Cool. So you gave it 10 out of possible 25 stars.
Oh, that's it. That makes it sound like I like it better than I do, and I don't like it.
I gave it 14 out of 25. So it comes at, give it 24 out of 50. 24 out of 50 stars means...
You've tricked me.
Someone here is 24 out of 50 stars. It is now in second place behind Mortal Kombat Annihilation, because Mortal Kombat Annihilation got 15.5 stars
Okay, all right.
out of 50. It was rubbish. So
Okay,
even
so it's down at the bottom then.
down the bottom. So number 1 is Mortal Kombat Annihilation. Number 2 now is Alien Resurrection with 24 stars. Third is Amazing Spider-Man 2, Rise of Electro with 26. Fourth is X-Men Origins Wolverine with 27. 5 is Escape from LA with 30 stars. And the last, or the best movie of the worst so far, is actually Batman and Robin with 32 stars.
And this came out the same year as well, didn't it? So
Yeah, same year.
that'd say a lot about Alien Resurrection.
There you go.
This is one of the most annoying films I've ever seen in my life.
It's not top, but it's second place and worst of the worst.
Never again.
Right, so if you got anything you want to say about Alien Resurrection before we go tonight, Simon?
I think I've said everything I need to say. Other than that, no, I've said everything I need to say.
Cool. I've just put here, Alien Resurrection for me is a film that has great set pieces and top quality practical effects. The story is where this movie slips. It's a by-numbers action thriller, which is on its own is fine. But a movie that is in the same film series as Alien and Aliens, this is certainly a step down. You get the feeling that this really wants to be both Alien and Aliens at the same time, but doesn't measure up to either. I don't hate Alien Resurrection. In fact, I like them more than I expected to, like I said. It's just a shame that it gets overshadowed by its more impressive older siblings. If you like what you hear or have any questions for the show, it may even be about Alien Resurrection. Why not contact us? Nobody Does It Bennett Facebook page, or you can hit us up on the Twitter at NobodyDIBennett. You can also email us at nobodydoesitbennett@outlook.com. That's a Bennett with 2 N's and 2 T's. Nobody Does It Bennett is available on Spotify, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and now YouTube. All by going to the webpage nobodydoesitbennett.buzzsprout.com. If you'd like to listen, download, or subscribe to the show. Thank you, Simon, for being part of the show.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening. And remember, some others may do it better, but nobody does it Bennett. Take care.
It's the end of the show, and now it's time to go. Don't be sad, just be glad that nobody does it better.